All right. Hey, everyone. It's Hobbsy and Golden here. Data is still on vacation, but one of the perks of being a channel member is we're taking over coverage for the day.
That's right. That's right. We are.
So, hello, Jeremy. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here.
All right.
All right. So, Golden tells me just as we're about to go live that Montreal is trading Logan Mailloux to St. Louis.
Yeah, absolutely. It is not a Kyrou deal, but there is a trade going for Logan Mailloux over to St. Louis. So, Habs fans, we're not getting Kyrou just yet, but hold on. We're working on the full movement.
Hopefully not at all. I'm sorry, Habs fans, but you got the option. That's enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, according to Freeman, it looks like it's going to be a fifth in 2027 as part of the Victor Arvidsson deal to the Boston Bruins.
All right, so clearing up cap space.
Clearing out cap space for Victor Arvidsson.
Yeah, there it is from Nick here. Oilers trade Arvidsson for a fifth from Boston.
Yep, there it is. Yep.
Oh, and I'm just seeing here, there's two of us here, but why not make it three?
Why not make it three? Let's get Dice in here.
Hello.
Hello.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Likewise. Not that we haven't been talking all morning.
Yeah, that is true. We have been.
Yeah, I see you guys just made a dynasty trade.
We did. We did just do that. Coming off the back foot of the Alex Pietrangelo stepping away from hockey.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Nick's a Bruins fan, and the Bruins need to help Pasternak. I agree.
Absolutely. Oilers are shedding all of Arvidsson's cap hit, no salary retention to Boston.
All right, that's good for Edmonton. We'll clear up some more space for them today.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to try and share my screen. I
let's see if we can.
But let's see.
So what do we think the Oilers do with that?
Corey Perry, come on back.
Corey Perry. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to just sign some of the guys that they are still remain. They've got $4.55 million left in the chamber for themselves. We've got guys like Corey Perry, Jeff Skinner. Oh, there we go. We can actually see your screen. There we go.
Nice. Screen. All right.
And breaking via Landon, it's Zach Bolduc going back to Montreal.
Zach Bolduc being traded back over to Montreal in exchange for Logan Mailloux.
Wow. And Twitter goes down. Of course.
Oh, no.
All right.
A July 1st tradition like no other.
No, like no other. Everything goes down. Yep. CJ reporting Montreal acquiring Zach Bolduc from St. Louis in exchange for Logan Mailloux.
Well, let's hop open the Puckpedia here.
It's a straight 1-for-1, nothing else being put out.
As Bob McKenzie likes to say, the trade is 1-for-1.
Yep, the trade is in fact 1-for-1. Logan Mailloux in exchange for Zach Bolduc.
All right, so Mailloux RFA after this coming season.
Data asking if stream ended.
Trade. First round pick in 2021. Played 7 games, 4 points. Habs. Now he's off to St. Louis. And hold on, let me get to St. Louis.
Zach Bolduc to the Montreal Canadiens. Data, welcome into the stream as well, man.
Data here? Hello.
Yep, Data is in here. Bolduc, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where is he? He should be on the roster. There he is. Sorry, guys. I'm not used to this. I'm not as good as Data. But here we go. First round pick also in 2021. So we get a swap of 2 2021 first round picks.
2 first round pick swaps.
Zach Bolduc, 72 games last year, 36 points.
Fair enough. Absolutely. That's a it's a decent deal back and forth. I think you'd think if you're Montreal, because they were talking about Maya in the Dobson trade at the draft. You think possibly you get something else for it? But hey, I'm fine with taking a young 22-year-old center forward in the form of Bolduc. It's a pretty solid idea.
I think this is fine for both sides, actually.
Yeah. But do you think the Bruins have a better chance of signing Boeser, Ehlers? I don't know if the Bruins are going to get either one of them, considering they just traded for Arvidsson.
I don't think the Bruins are going to get either. But
just based on that.
I know at the start of the TSN coverage today, Bob McKenzie is not convinced Nikolai Ehlers will sign today.
Yeah, not convinced. Interesting. Okay.
Drager seems to think that Boeser will make a decision today.
All right. So we'll at least get one of the big names off the board today.
Yeah. So Twitter's still down. So I'll pop back over here and just stop screen sharing for a bit.
Absolutely. So we can definitely look as well, because there have been a couple extra contract extensions that have gone through, a couple names being nabbed off the board. We talked about earlier, but we didn't talk about on stream, but just before we also went live, Jake Allen signing a contract extension with the New Jersey Devils. 5 years at 1.8 for Jake Allen.
Yeah, 5 years is nuts to me.
That is a lot of years on Jake Allen. But hey, if he's committed to being in New Jersey and he wants to be there for all that time, why not?
It's a cheap, reliable backup. I still think that's a great move for both sides. Allen gets security. The Devils also have security, knowing their backup goalie spot is cheap moving forward as they try to compete.
Absolutely. And with Markstrom just having 1 year left in his contract, you can then take a look at that and see, okay, we've got Jake Allen signed on 5 years. If something falls through with Markstrom, we do have somebody available, but they'll definitely be looking to try and re-sign Markstrom if they can.
Yeah, I think so. But
yeah.
I think for now it's good for the Devils. They got their backup and they can run it back with Markstrom and Allen. And then hopefully they're healthier going into the playoffs.
Absolutely. That also puts New Jersey now $12.5 million of cap space, and not a whole lot to deal with, but I mean, there is the big factor of they still have Luke Hughes to give a contract to.
That is true.
So definitely saving a lot of money with Jake Allen going for that 1.8.
All right, so let's.
We got Luke Hughes now to deal
back
with.
Over the chat here.
Yeah, let's go back.
Leafs fan. Let's talk about this one. I'm surprised Marner went to Vegas.
Surprised that Marner went to Vegas? I mean, here's the thing. I was kind of expecting something to happen in this situation. Like, you either, in this case, Marner goes for nothing and most likely just signs in Vegas anyways, or you get something for him. And honestly, the fact that with a lot of rights, like players trading rights or teams trading rights of players, you'd expect not a whole lot getting back. For the Leafs, I'm all right with this, because getting a roster player for the rights to somebody like Marner, yeah, it was a sign and trade, but getting a roster player for that, not really heard of as much. So it sucks, but I'm all right with it.
Yeah, the Leafs did good to get something back.
Yeah, because they that was the situation. They were going to lose Marner for nothing. They get something out of him. It works.
Get something out of him. Yeah, Marner was going to walk anyway, so get something. And then they also acquired Matias Maccelli from Utah the other day, which that should be a solid move too.
A little bit of a buy, like a low risk or a little bit of a high risk and high reward type player. immaturity.
Sure.
Oh.
A little weird move to me. I feel like Boston should commit to a rebuild rather than try to be competitive and end up with a 13th, 16th pick. I'm guessing this revolves Arvidsson, in which case it's. I think they were just looking for someone to try and compete partially, or just help
Yeah,
out Boston.
Somebody's got to score goals other than Pasternak.
absolutely. You got to get somebody who can.
Hey, Morgan Geekie scored 33 last year.
Oh, okay.
The other day.
Weren't most of those like bank shots that Pasternak put off of him though?
I mean,
Probably, but I'm not a Bruins guy. I don't know.
fair enough. Also, I didn't.
But there's something there, and they need center help. So hopefully Geeky does continue to develop. I'll be nicer to Boston now. I think that's why they need Arvidsson. They can't just be a one-line team.
Yeah, I think they needed to get people in anyway. So
yeah, absolutely. Also, I'm looking now as Trade Breakers goes through. Landon reporting the Zach Bolduc thing. Jiggles also reporting Chicago acquiring Sam Lafferty from Buffalo in exchange for a 2026 6th-round pick. So Lafferty is now a Chicago Blackhawk.
Sam Lafferty.
I think he was previously as
I'm
well.
I believe
feel like he
back
was
to Chicago. Yeah.
Hey, Michael Ack is in here. What I missed with Boston?
Is in here. What I missed with Boston? Well, they just made the trade and required Victor Arvidsson from the Edmonton Oilers in exchange for I believe a 2027 5th-round pick. So that is what you got from Boston so far, Mr. Brian Michalak. Yep, there it is. Sam Lafferty, Chicago, for a 2026 6th-round pick. Lafferty, 1 year remaining on his $2 million contract.
You've got a whole team full of third liners.
A whole team full of third liners.
Hey, if you can't have a third line, then
Full team
what
of
can
third
you have?
liners.
Come on now.
Hey, why not?
So we were going through extensions before. Do we want to talk about Vancouver a little bit? They've done some work.
Oh, absolutely. We can talk about that. Yeah.
Let's talk about Vancouver. Thatcher
Let's
Demko,
talk about-
3 years, 8.5. Connor
Absolutely.
Garland, that's what is
6
it?
years.
6 years at 6
by
mil.
6 Connor Garland, a 3-year, $8.5 million contract with Thatcher Demko. Full no movement clause as well attached to that Demko contract. And actually, a full no movement clause attached to Connor Garland with a 15-team no trade list afterwards. A 3-year full no movement clause, then a 15-team no trade list.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
All right, I think my Twitter's back, so here we go. Yep.
Oh, there we go.
I can't stand Montreal, but Kent Hughes doing all the right things. Yeah, that's a good trade for Montreal.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go to Jay Fresh quickly.
Yeah, let's get Jay Fresh. Hopefully he's got some player cards available for us.
I've taken a pre-free agency walk, but I really like this for Montreal. Okay.
All right.
Here we go. Okay, Victor Arvidsson, acquired by Boston, is a rushing scoring winger who generates basically all his offense in transition.
There it is. Yep, 55% projected wins above replacement. Really good offensive projection. Not the greatest when it comes to defensive projection, though. 28% on that.
They're getting him to score, though.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, the 57% finishing. The 70% competition. Like you have a good guy who can play top 6, middle 6 spots in Boston. So Arvidsson, a good piece for them.
And then the micro stats, 61% goals, 52% chances.
A lot of shots.
A lot of shots for Victor Arvidsson.
A lot of rush shots, too.
Yeah. Listen, that's what Boston needs. They need more goal scorers. That's what they got to do.
In transition.
Absolutely.
Skating speed, above average, I think.
A little above average, a little 69% skating speed, 87 shot
a nice skating speed.
Yeah. The
Nice.
rush offense, 99% on a rush offense. So very big rush player who can really score, honestly. That's what Boston kind of needs. Like you said, with Pasternak being kind of your only goal scorer at this point in time, you need guys who can score. We need second liners.
Well, Arvidsson can be a second liner.
He can be a second liner, absolutely. Arvidsson has that type of potential to be a second line guy if he stays healthy, that is.
If he stays healthy. All right, so giving Arvidsson
that
a Boston.
There's also a Stan Coven player card as well. 8 years,
So
$60 million. Logan Stankoven.
Logan Stankoven signed to an $8 by $6 million extension by Carolina as a young offensive forward who makes up for lack of size with a tenacious up-tempo game, deadly off the rush, where his creativity and shot make him a threat despite lack of size, crashes the net, and races to lose pucks. Yeah, I really like Logan Stankoven.
Absolutely. Really good player, really good young player for Carolina. 52% projected wins above replacement. You got really good offensive stats there. 83% offensive stats. Decent defensive stats. Probably could use a little bit of improvement, but could definitely help out the Hurricanes with that. And for a young guy that they were able to get as part of the Mikko Rantanen trade, not a bad idea to keep him.
Not a bad contract. An unexceptional production, terrific process. Showed a lot in the postseason. This could be one of the league's best contracts. And yeah, I think he probably could have got a little more if he didn't sign it right now.
Oh yeah, they waited till midway through the season. They waited till near the end of the season. Yeah, he probably could have gotten 7, maybe 8 million, but he chooses to sign now. Chooses to go 8 by 6. That definitely works in Carolina's favor.
It works both ways too, I guess, because he's still a young guy, so he gets basically $50 million, $48 million.
Absolutely.
And to a certain extent, every NHL player has an incentive to just get the bag early because you're one bad hit away from your career being over. Like, get the money when you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's.
And now if you're looking at Carolina's contract situation as well, they've got a lot of guys signed on all the way up to 2029, 2030. Aho, Svechnikov, Jarvis, Kotkaniemi, Carrier, now Stankoven. They've got a bunch of guys locked up long term. Even Slavin signed on long term. They have a lot of term based contracts. So they don't have to worry about signing a bunch of guys immediately. So very helpful stuff for the Hurricanes.
And cap space. They have a ton of
cap space. $26.7 million in cap space.
I mean, half of that was supposed to go to Mitch Marner, but now that he's off the board, are you going to fall back to Nikolai Ehlers? Are you going to take your picks and throw an offer sheet somewhere?
I can see Carolina taking a big run at Ehlers.
I could see that being the case. I could even see him taking maybe a run at Boeser as well. That could be somebody that they could use. There's a chance on that, but Ehlers would be a fun one for the Hurricanes. They have the money to do it. They're definitely going to make a big run for him.
They have an extra first next year, thanks to the Rantanen deal. So take your own first, your own second, and throw close to $9 million at somebody, and see if you can't get an RFA.
Might as well see what you can do with it. Yeah, two first in 2026, first in 2027. You got options.
Michael Ack here. Carolina could be a dark horse on Rossi or Cooley.
That is true.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. They need a second line center.
Especially, Marco Rossi as well, because they really need to mess around with that Jesperi Kotkaniemi contract. I don't think he works as well for second line center. So getting a guy like Marco Rossi would be a very interesting idea for Carolina.
And Kotkaniemi, being big, maybe that's something that appeals to Guerin, so maybe he's a return piece in a Rossi deal, and you make up the difference with draft picks or prospects, whatever.
Yeah, looking at the depth chart here, need a second line center. Kakanemi either goes back to Minnesota or he slides down the lineup. Jordan Staal, fourth line center. I assume Stankoven will probably be up in one of these spots here over Paul or Blake.
Yeah, he definitely makes his way up there at that point in time.
And then on the blue line, there's still be some work, but it's not bad.
Oh, yeah.
They also traded for Caden Primo, which is interesting because they already have Freddie and Kochetkov.
Oh, yeah. So they could be trying to save up at the point. Maybe they know that Anderson might be gone after next season. Maybe they're looking at something like that.
Yeah, and that you may only get 30 games out of him this year.
You also might get a short amount of time.
That's true. He has had some injury issues.
Definitely some options there.
All right, so let's Carolina.
Yeah, let's see.
What else do we want to talk about as we reach 12 o'clock?
Interesting. Okay. Kevin Weeks reporting right now. Islanders among the potential landing spots for David Rick. That goaltender that Islanders could be looking at.
It's interesting because if we bring up the Islanders depth chart here.
Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at the Islanders. Let's see.
Take a look at the Islanders. They have the first overall pick.
Picking Matthew Schaefer with that.
Which, yeah, that was the right pick.
Oh, yeah. right selection to make if you're the New York Islanders. You got a bunch of other big, like a good draft picks as well in the first round. Victor Eklund, Kashawn Aitchison.
All right, so we got basically 13 million cap space, and need a couple forwards, defensemen, all right. No qualifying offer for Scott Perunovich. Mike Riley's UFA, so I could probably use a defenseman or so. Goaltender.
Though I can see why they're looking at a guy like Riddick when you've got Sorokin, but then you don't have much of anything else because you have Varlamov, but who knows what he's up to at this point. And then you've got Marcus Hogberg as your backup.
Sens legend Marcus Hogberg.
So you could see a guy like Riddick potentially going over to the Islanders, playing backup behind Sorokin.
You could, yeah, if Varlamov's not going to be healthy, then you could definitely see Riddick fitting in.
Yeah.
If Varlamov is healthy, I have to assume we'll just run back Sorokin Varlamov, in which case Riddick's third goalie, a waiver option. We'll fight it out with Hogberg.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think Schaefer makes the Islanders?
I mean, with Dodson now gone, and they also re-signing Tony DeAngelo to that $1.75 million for 1 year, I don't know. I don't know if they want to rush
for his development not to. Yeah, I think you were going to say that, Golden.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to rush Schaefer in immediately, maybe take a year and then see from there.
I think taking a year is probably the better call, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't rule out the Islanders as a playoff dark horse because Sorokin, when he's on, is one of the best goalies in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
And you still got some solid options up front. Their blue line definitely takes a hit with Dobson leaving.
That's temporary. Because they'll get Schaefer. Yeah.
It's
temporary. This upcoming season, it takes a hit.
Yeah.
They brought DeAngelo back, brought Romanov back.
Would they be a place for Boeser to reunite with Bo Horvat?
That I didn't think about that one. That actually could be an interesting move.
That could be. Yeah, I like the fit. I mean,
I do like that.
Spoiler alert, but if you've been following along with Data's Islander series, it's worked.
It has worked. Brock Boeser and Bo Horvat.
Brock Boeser has worked on the island.
Sometimes life imitates art.
Yeah.
think we might have to start calling Data a prophet if Boeser signs with the Islanders.
If he signs with the Islanders, Data's been making so many different things. Gee, so many things happen.
They've got some pieces here. They could make a run
They could definitely make a run
at
at
a playoff spot.
a guy like Boeser. They got almost $13 million in cap space too to work with it. Yeah, I can see it.
All right.
Let's see what else is.
Let's see what else.
So I don't think we've talked about this on camera,
No.
but Florida kept the band together.
Oh
right?
yeah,
They re-signed everybody. They all took discounts.
Yep, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Florida Panthers. As Data would put it, his Florida Panthers.
Data's Florida Panthers.
Data's Florida Panthers. They do re-sign Sam Bennett, Brad Marchand, and Aaron Ekblad. All three of them sticking around. Sam Bennett, 8 years, $8 million. Brad Marchand with the 6-year, $5.25 million contract, and Aaron Ekblad with, I believe, a 8-year, $6.1.
8 years, $6.1. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to
insert. He can't keep getting away with it.
Insert. Insert. He can't keep getting away with this. A Bill Zito masterclass.
Yep, Marchand, 6 years, 5.25.
I was reading this as well about it. Vancouver is paying $20 million to Connor Garland, to Thatcher Demko, and to one other player.
Kevin Lankinen.
Yeah, Kevin Lankinen. Florida is paying the same thing to Matthew Tkachuk, Brad Marchand, and Aaron Ekblad.
That's insane.
That is insane work from the Panthers, from Bill Zito, to even manage that.
There's no slight to Landon and Dallas here, but how has Bill Zito not won GM of the Year?
I mean, with everything that's happened, yeah. How do you do that? They are over the salary cap, negative 2.175 over, but you don't have a whole lot to do if you're the Panthers. You don't have a lot to do. You got Samoskevich. Otherwise, that's it.
Yeah, sign him. Say goodbye to Evan Rodriguez. He's done well for them, but that's $3 million that will get you under the cap.
Yeah, and that's all you need to do if you're the Panthers. You're coming back with basically the exact same team, minus Evan Rodriguez. Who says no to that?
All right,
so Bobby Margarita from the Cottage. Not as sexy as it sounds, though. It says he's warning people that teams aren't going to announce deals early to avoid being charged with tampering allegations.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Ack saying the Panthers make me sick.
I understand. They kind of took your team's mojo. They monstarsed you.
Agreed, man. Agreed.
Samoskevich, big RFA offer sheet guy, too. Yeah, I could see someone throwing an offer sheet at Samoskevich.
I could see it. I could see it. Yeah, I do agree. I could see them throwing something in the way of Samoskevich. Is he even RFA? No, he's offer sheet ineligible.
He's not even eligible? Oh,
he's not even eligible for an offer sheet.
No current contract. Restricted free agent. I need to get an ad blocker. I'm sorry about that, everyone.
Hey, no worries. I don't have one.
He just doesn't have enough service time to be eligible for an offer sheet.
Yeah, he's 22.
Yeah, he's not offer sheet ineligible.
Yep, he is offer sheet ineligible. There is no ability for it.
Here we go. Do not meet the experience criteria to be an RFA are not eligible to receive offer sheets.
My goodness. That just makes it even better if you're the Panthers, because now you don't have to worry about a guy like Samoskevich being offer sheeted. You can work with the contracts you have. You can throw Rodriguez. You can dump the $3 million on Evan Rodriguez, sign Samoskevich, and you're good.
I think the only piece that they're missing is Nate Schmidt, possibly from their playoff run. Yeah,
Nate Schmidt and Nico Sturm. Those are the two.
Nate Schmidt and Nico. Hey, don't forget Jacob Magna.
Oh yeah, of course. Don't forget about
Yeah,
Jacob and Vitek Vanacek.
Well, I guess they replaced Vanacek with Daniil Tarasov,
Yeah.
which I think is
Colin Blackwell staying in Dallas according to Landon, 2 years, $775K. That's another
Blackwell
Dallas off
staying
the.
in Dallas. All right, we can jump over to Dallas. Why not?
Yeah, it's a good segue.
I was gonna say, might as well jump over to Dallas. Take a look. They've got
projected cap space.
Barely enough in cap space.
980,000.
That's actually not even including the Blackwell.
That's not including Blackwell. So that's pretty much their entire.
So Dallas, unless they're making trades, that is them basically done. No Dadonov, no Mikhail Granlund, no Brendan Smith, no Cody Ceci.
With only 10, call it 11 forwards, they can't be done.
Yeah, they can't be finished at that point. They've got to do something in order to keep their team.
Granlund's gone.
Granlund.
No Cody Ceci. I don't think that's much of a loss. I think Dice can attest to that as well.
Oh yeah.
And Golden, actually. We've all had Cody Ceci on our team.
Oh, we all have had Cody Ceci at some point. Big man Cody Ceci.
All right, so let's go to the depth chart. Yeah, it's a little thin after the top six. You've got Johnston and Bork. They're two solid, well, more than solid young pieces. And then Sam Steele on the fourth line. So Blackwell will fit in here, I assume, for one of these two fourth line wingers here.
Absolutely.
And then on the back end, they've got to find a way to shed Dumba.
They've got to find a way to shed that Dumba contract. Absolutely.
And yeah, Elliott reporting the same thing that Bob McKenzie said earlier. I don't think we're going to hear anything on Nick Ehlers today. This one is going to play out. All right, so we're off Nick Ehlers' watch for the time being.
Nick Ehlers not there today.
Michael
I know people are fan casting. That's an interesting idea.
Perry going back.
I know people are. Sorry, fan casting Dumba going to Pittsburgh is like one of the only dumping grounds in the league this year as a rebuilding team. But what kind of sweetener is Dallas going to have to include to dump Matt Dumba? Like, I don't think they have many draft picks left after going for it this year. They just sent out Logan Stankoven. They've re-signed Bork, who's obviously a part of their plans. Like,
well, 2025 just happened, so 2026. Here we go. They have second, third.
They have to give up like a 2027 top 60 pick.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tough. I mean, although.
Whoa! Hold on a minute now. Christian Dvorak. I'm not sure why this just popped up for some reason. I just saw this. Christian Dvorak, 1 year, $5.4 million on Philadelphia. According to Jack, who just reported that. Friedman reporting originally Dvorak at 1 year, 4.5, but getting rid of that to now say 5.4. Christian Dvorak, 1 year, $5.4 million, Philadelphia, I believe.
Yep, here it is. I will pull it up here now. From Friedman on Twitter, Christian Dvorak. 1 year, $5.4 million off to Philadelphia.
What?
That feels like a lot.
That feels like a lot of money for Christian Dvorak.
That's
a $5.4 million contract on Christian Dvorak.
That's a lot of money.
Oh yeah. How did Philadelphia get Dvorak? Now I'm looking at it because he was on Montreal. How did they get him?
He was a free agent, I believe.
Oh yeah, he was a free agent. Yeah, you're right. Dvorak, $5.4 million for a guy who scored 33 points in 82 games for the Montreal Canadiens this year. Okay, then. Gentlemen, what do we think about that one?
It's a lot to pay your 3C.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
I mean, at least it's 1 year, but
it's 1 year for sure. Yeah, Flyers have the money to do it, but yeah, I'm questioning that.
Let's play. Do you have the depth chart up for Philly? Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, there's the depth chart up.
So he goes somewhere here, possibly 3C. You bump up Cates and move Zegras to the wing.
Possibly, yeah. Maybe Dvorak goes 3C, Cates goes up, Zegras moves to the wing, or Dvorak goes 2C, Zegras goes to the wing. I don't know. It's a weird move if I'm Philadelphia. I mean, we got to hear at some point from Derek about this. Derek's going to be.
So from what I see in Discord, the quote from Derek is, "What the actual hell?"
Well, there we go. There it is.
What is the point of Christian Dvorak on Twitter? Yep, here we go. I will be careful with Derek's Twitter here because
because we are still on we still are live streaming.
We are on Data's channel. We can't go too crazy.
We cannot go insane.
Yeah, I just used our PG-13 allotment, so we'll be more careful.
Oh yeah, Flyers now $8.8 million in contract space with. Their only big name left is Cam York, who's an RFA. They still need to give him a contract.
And they were supposed to be signing that guy out of the KHL, Shabanov.
Shabanov.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand this one for Philly, really.
I don't understand it either. That's a weird. It's a weird big contract for Christian Dvorak.
I guess as people say, there's no harm in a 1 year deal.
There's no harm in it, absolutely, but for $5.4 million, I don't know.
Okay, here we go. Yep, Puckpedia is updated now. $8.8 million in cap space after the Christian Dvorak signing.
Yeah, and no qualifying offer sent to Jakob Pelletier.
That one was interesting to me. I do remember during the Zegras trade coverage, Derek said they didn't really know where Pelkey fit. But I don't know, so I guess Dvorak's, I guess he'll slot in here. I think Zegras is more of a center than a winger.
Absolutely, yeah.
Does Dvorak play wing?
Dvorak, he has a bit of wing experience.
Does Dvorak play wing but take face-offs?
Possibly. Maybe you go Zegras, Tippett, Dvorak, Forster comes down.
Forster down here with Cates and Brink. Dvorak. I don't know if I'd want to play Dvorak in the top 6, though.
I don't know. Yeah, Dvorak doesn't make sense for a top 6 guy either.
Well, Danny closed. I'm just not entirely sure.
Yeah, but it did happen.
Well, that was interesting.
That's an interesting contract for sure.
Did not see that one coming, but here we go.
I mean, I expected Dvorak to sign somewhere. I was not expecting him for this much.
Let's jump back over to Twitter here now. Sens legend Parker Kelly has a 4-year extension here in Colorado.
4-year extension for Parker Kelly.
Look at the details. Why not?
Let's look at it.
All right. So from the news release here, signed Parker Kelly to a 4-year contract extension through the 29-30 season. With career high tying 80 games for the Avalanche, 19 points. Yeah, he's a solid 4th line player. Like, he's not going to be much more than that.
Absolutely.
But, he's fairly solid.
Yeah, he's a very solid player to be on the.
Don't see the money yet, though.
Yeah, no money being sent. I think JFresh might have a Boljuk card now.
Yeah, let's go back to JFresh here again.
Yeah, JFresh might have the Zach Boljuk card up.
I'm just gonna pop over here.
Trader.
Mighty Joe, data stream, and I'm off work early. What a day!
What a day! What a day!
Technically, it is a data stream. It's just data is not here.
Yeah, not exactly. Yeah, because we got the channel members here. We got me, Ozzy, and Dice, all three of us here, taking over. As said, yeah. And yeah, it's one of the perks. This is one of the perks, as Hotzi said earlier. This is one of the perks of being a channel member. This is something you might be able to do. So hey, opportunities.
Doesn't look like there's any cards up yet, but
interesting.
I like that this is the one announced contract because the Flyers can plausibly say we offered it and Dvorak agreed immediately, no negotiation necessary.
Okay, let's see if anything else is up and up. I'm also looking as well with the Avalanche. If whatever the Parker Kelly deal added on there, they have currently $7.55 million in cap space. No Jonathan Drouin, no Jimmy Vesey, no Joel Kiviranta, Eric Johnson, Tucker Pullman, Ryan Lindgren. They do have a lot of guys that they've got to sign. But do you guys see the Avalanche maybe taking a run at somebody?
I think so. They traded Coyle and Miles Wood. They freed up some money. I think they're going to take a run at somebody. I don't know if that somebody is bringing back Jonathan Drouin.
Possibly.
But I think they're going to take a run at somebody.
Oh, there it is. I think maybe the contract for Parker Kelly just got yeah, there it is. 4 by 1.7 for Parker Kelly.
1.7? Good for Parker Kelly.
Good for Parker Kelly. 1.7 million on the contract, as reported by Landon from Elliot Friedman.
I like it.
Love to see that. Love to see that for Parker Kelly.
All right, so we look at Colorado's depth chart here. Yeah, I think they're gonna have to. I think they're taking a run at somebody.
Do you think that's a Boeser? Do you think that's an Ehlers? Do you think that's somebody else on the board?
I think they'll be outbid on both.
Bid them both.
It would not shock me if they take another run at Jonathan Drouin.
I wouldn't be surprised as well. Yeah, Drouin's done really good stuff for Colorado, especially if you're playing him with Nathan McKinnon somehow.
All right. Actually, let's go to the Athletic Big Board. All right, so
okay, let's take a look.
We've got Ehlers, Boeser, Gavrikov. They could take a run at Granlund.
Yeah, we see that. Allen's now gone off the board.
Jake Allen is off the board. Top goaltender available.
Yep. So basically,
contract protection, 2 years, $5 million. Yeah, I think.
For Granlund, yeah, that makes sense.
Granlund, yeah, they could run this. Pius Suter, maybe. Apparently, he wants a lot of money in Vancouver.
Interesting.
Yeah, Jonathan Drouin, contract projection, 3 years, shade over $5 million.
Yeah.
He's put up 0.76 points per game across the past 2 seasons in Colorado, where he took advantage of favorable lineup deployment. Drouin excels when skating alongside a high-end finisher because of playmaking, creativity, and vision. So yeah, he fits with McKinnon. We figured that part out.
Yeah. Those two worked very well. So yeah.
Also, Ryan Lindgren.
Roslovic, Manjapani. But yeah, Lindgren, somebody that Avalanche might need to look at because they've got they have 6 defensemen right now, but that's also with Keaton Middleton and Sam Malinsky added in.
That is true. There's 6
might look to re-sign at least maybe Lindgren.
Yeah, I could see Lindgren coming back on the left side with Tejera. Lindgren, that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump over here. And Mighty Joe says, don't know St. So Data's gonna have some funds
Okay.
in that bank account.
Joe, thank you very much, Mighty Joe.
No, it's just some love for you guys helping run the stream. Great job, gents. Well, thank you, Mighty Joe. We appreciate that. We're trying our best here.
We are trying to.
So
it's different when it's not Data running this thing, but we're attempting to give you guys the best amount of quality that we can.
I've been thinking about like a nickname for us doing this, and like pinch hitting is a baseball term. So like, what's the hockey equivalent of that? Are we the second line? Are we the PK unit?
We're the PK. We're going on the PK.
I'm gonna jump back over here because there was a Logan Mayuta card here.
There we go.
I sent this into a little chat here. Yeah, Boulder. This trade looks a lot better for Montreal now that I see the card.
Absolutely, yeah. 86% of projected wins above replacements. We've got big amount of stuff on that.
I think this is good for both teams though, because St. Louis's decor is getting older. Like they need talent in that system at that position, so that fills a need there. Mayu's going to take longer to develop than Bolduc as a defender versus wing. It's too early to completely judge this.
Yeah, and even if you are like if you're St. Louis, you also have young guys who are coming up. You got Jimmy Snuggerud, you got Dalibor Dvorak, you've got defense and Adam Juracek possibly coming up, Otto Stenberg on the forward end. You've got options, so moving out Bolduc isn't the worst.
Okay, so I have a rumor from Discord, but it's from Palm, which means that it's real.
It most likely is real then.
The Oilers are looking at Joseph Woll.
Oh boy.
That's
my dynasty team would love this.
Oh boy. I don't know if I'd love it. But I can see your dynasty team would love it.
I mean, but you've got Stolars already, Golden. So, like, is it?
Yeah.
Well, what does Edmonton have to give you to make you comfortable taking Joseph Woll?
That's the question, because I would say one a backup goaltender, but like, what the heck are you gonna do with Stuart Skinner?
Oh, you didn't hear that Skinner is going back to Toronto the other way?
Oh no.
Here's the trade is 1-for-1. Jay Fresher. The trade is 1-for-1.
The trade is 1-for-1.
Stuart Skinner. Oh boy.
Oh boy, Stuart.
Oh, let's jump over to the Leafs here. They have $6 million.
Yeah, they have some money up in their system. They did not send a qualifying offer to Pontus Holmberg. They've got Max Pacioretty, who most likely won't be signing for quite a while, and otherwise that's the only guys that they have left over besides Nick Robertson, who knows. Oh, okay, thank you, Landon. William Eklund re-signs with the San Jose Sharks, contract extension to him.
Ooh, all right, we'll jump up that.
That might be one of the best deals in the league. Holy cow.
$5.6 million contract extension for 3 years on William Eklund.
Okay, Juice says, wait, why are we looking at the Avs? What did I miss? They re-signed Parker Kelly to a 4-year deal worth $1.7 million per season.
Just looking at
it. We're discussing who they might take a run at with their cap space.
Yeah, there you go. William
Eklund can't stay healthy. Yeah, he did win the starting job. But that's why I have to talk about the Leafs, the better. Let's go talk about Eklund.
Okay. Dang. Fair enough. Yeah, look at that. William Eklund, 77 games, 17 goals, 58 points for the San Jose Sharks, and he gets a $5.6 million contract. That is a good deal. That is a very fantastic deal from the Sharks,
who have an enormous $44 million in cap space. I know this extension starts next year, but holy cow.
$44 million in cap space.
3-year bridge extension. Deal begins in 26-27.
Which I actually don't know.
And he's 22.
And he's 22.
Eklund is 22. I don't actually know. The $44 million's there. I don't know if that's also including the $8 million coming off the books for Logan Couture, or if that is with it.
Oh, I think that's without. Holy cow!
If that's without, yeah, that's in the 50 millions for cap space. My goodness.
What's worth, Puckpedia here does have Couture still listed on the roster.
Okay, so yeah, he would still be on the roster. So yeah, that's in the 52 million, I believe. For the Sharks.
Welcome back.
Mental.
Not to mention, next year the Mark Edward Vlasic buyout goes down by $3 million. So
yeah.
You're going to have money for a while.
Okay, we would talk. Okay, I want to jump off this for a second. Yeah,
breaking news.
Boeser might be going back to Vancouver, as according to Sportsnet alluded to. Brock Boeser is returning to the Vancouver Canucks.
Here we go.
Here we go. This is the big news we wanted to see. This is it. Brock Boeser is staying with the Vancouver Canucks, or at least possibly staying.
Rick Goalie here, hearing Boeser and Vancouver will get done.
Okay, there it is. Brock Boeser.
That's some strong confirmation.
That's some confirmation right there. Yep,
Freeman. Murphy, 7.25 by 7.
Okay. Brock Boeser is most likely staying a Vancouver Canuck.
He took a discount.
Yeah, I was going to say, in this new cap environment, like 7.25 seems like a pretty good number for Boeser.
7.725 for Boeser, absolutely, on a seven-year deal for sure. That does put Vancouver just a tad bit over the cap because they have $7 million in cap space, but you send one guy down and you're good.
Yeah, Brock Boeser is returning to Vancouver.
Brock Boeser. That's the big name off the board. That is the big name off the board.
Big name Brock off Boeser. The board. So we go to Vancouver now.
Vancouver Canuck.
7 million cap space, so I guess another move is coming to fit this in, but that'll be minor.
Yeah, that'll be my guess is like a Linus Karlsson or a Neil Zaman being sent down, and that's all they need to get done.
It's not gonna be.
They've already got their 13 forwards, so they don't need to worry about anything else. So Brock Boeser, ladies and gentlemen, Brock Boeser will remain a Vancouver Canuck. We were talking about how there's a chance that teams like Colorado, Carolina might be looking at Boeser. Not anymore.
So we definitely have to talk about that more, but let's stick with the Canucks here for a minute. Canucks fans, you know your team better than me. What does your top six look like now when you look at this depth chart and you put Boeser back on there? Like, does Höglander go to the third line? Who's best suited to play with EP40 here out of all the other wings?
Yeah, especially now you've got Evander Kane, you've got no Pius Suter in the lineup now. So you've got right now Pettersson, Höglander, Garland. Do you put Boeser right there where Connor Garland is? And you go something like that? Do you move DeBrusque up? Do you put Boeser where Kane is right now? What do you do with that?
Well, Besser's more of a right winger, so I'd say he probably slots in over here. I'd probably stick him with Pettersson again. Maybe you go for Kane over here, Kane, Pettersson, Boeser.
You could do something like that. Yeah, you could go with Evander Kane, Elias Pettersson, Brock Boeser. Then you get Hedl with Garland, DeBrusque.
Hedl, Garland. With Karamaki, Bluger, Höglander?
You could do something like that, yeah. And then you've got Dakota Joshua, Drew O'Connor, and Kiefer Sherwood fourth line.
Yeah. It's just good for Vancouver. They keep the top free agent.
They do keep their top free agent available now. Boeser will remain in Vancouver. So that's now
good on Alvin.
Good on Alvin, yeah. Everybody thought he was gone.
Everybody was thinking Boeser was going to go. The whole if you heard about the trades I could be making for Boeser, I'd have to run out of the room comments. Now change itself because Boeser ends up staying.
Well, yeah, 7.25, 7 years for Brock Boeser. Expires UFA the same year as Elias Pettersson.
7.25 for Boeser.
So anytime you talk about Vancouver and contracts expiring, you also have to mention the Quinn Hughes deadline.
That is true.
You have to mention that. 2 years away.
2 years away on the Quinn Hughes contract. This is also it could be a good piece to try to make Quinn Hughes stick around.
Yeah, I think that definitely plays a part.
Yeah, absolutely. And there it is. Contract's now been added in. Boeser, $7.25 million. Puts Vancouver just above the cap space, but yeah, you move one guy down, Linus Karlsson, Neil Simon, something like that, you're set. You don't have to worry about it if you're Vancouver. But that'll be them done, I would assume.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect much else big news out of Vancouver.
I'd expect that's it for Vancouver. I'd expect Pius Suter is gone. I would expect somebody else to be going after him. But there you go, gentlemen.
There it is.
The big name off the board.
Stays in
so
Vancouver.
that just leaves Nikolai Ehlers, who is going to get a bag.
Absolutely.
Nikolai Ehlers is going to get a boatload of money.
Absolute bag.
So with that in mind, that's a good article to pull up here. So with Brock Boeser's gone, and all reports I've seen is Gavrikov's going to the Rangers since I see his name up here.
Yeah.
If you are a team that did not get these players and has cap space, you need to call Kyle Dubas and get you a Ricard Raquel or a Brian Rust.
Absolutely. Either that or you're looking after a Mikhail Granlund or an Ehlers, somebody like that. Because you got work to do with that one. I also see now the J Fresh card for Boeser has been put up. Brock Boeser signed 7x7.3 for some reason on here. Is a top 6 scoring winner. At his best, gets piles of chances and goals in the slot, limited by a lack of foot speed and puck skills, and 95% of his game is moving around the offensive zone off puck, waiting to receive a pass.
So yeah, so that sounds like you put him with Pettersson then.
That sounds like you put him with Pettersson.
You do just
let
that.
him score.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. We'll mention that in a second. But yeah, let's look at Boeser's profile card there. Wins above replacement, 65% of the projected wins above replacement, 78% power play, 82% finishing, 78% goals. That is what you're looking at right then and there.
Paul McKenzie is reporting that Corey Perry is going to the Kings.
Yeah, that was a Paul McKenzie report there. CJ Chris Johnston reporting that as well. Corey Perry
Corey Perry to Los Angeles.
So expect the LA Kings to be in the Stanley Cup Finals this year.
And to lose.
To lose in the Stanley Cup Finals. Oh boy. But yeah, that is a big deal for the Canucks getting Brock Boeser off of the market right there.
Yep,
Golden, as a Leafs fan, would you sign up for that curse? Would you sign Corey Perry if it meant that he'd get out of round 2?
Listen, if you're getting out of round 2, that's fine by me. I would take anything at this point. You give me Corey Perry just to get us guaranteed the Stanley Cup Finals.
All right, let's jump back over here for a second. We'll go to Brock Boeser one last time since he's the biggest name right now.
The biggest name on the board. I think won't be getting
the guy can score goals, and that's what they're paying him to do.
That is what they need. They need him to score goals. He's there to score goals.
My bad. Anyway, so he can score goals. That's what he's there to do. It's
Absolutely.
just he's only cracked 30 once, and that was 40, which is slightly concerning, but I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Absolutely. So now it also does look like the lineup chart has changed. So it's looking like we're getting Pettersson, DeBrusk, Boeser, Hedel, Kane, Garland, Bluger, Holtlander, Sherwood as your top 9 in Vancouver.
Okay, I could see that too. Kane, second line. DeBrusk.
Yeah, second line with a guy like Hedel and Garland. DeBrusk going up there. 2 guys that Pettersson can pass the puck to. Definitely works.
I still think they got to get Lekaramaki into that top 9 somehow.
At some point, yeah, you'd think Jonathan Lekaramaki has gotta make his way up there. You also got guys like Atu coming up. Niels Amon. Tom Willander is also in there for defense. You got guys coming up.
Yeah, Vancouver's in a pretty good spot.
They are in a pretty good spot now with Boeser locked up long term. That definitely helps him out even more.
And then the 3 Pedersons.
You have the 3 Pedersons lined up as well. You got all these different players for Vancouver. You're looking set if you're the Vancouver Canucks right now.
All right, so we'll get to Corey Perry in a bit.
Yeah, so let's take a look now. Yeah, we've got that leaves now Ehlers as the top fish.
Ehlers as the top fish in the pond.
One last gasp for teams. Ehlers is the big name. Is he going to go? Will he go today? Will he not go today? Who knows?
It sounds like Connor Brown is going to New Jersey.
Okay.
Connor Brown in New Jersey.
Connor Brown is a New Jersey Devil per chance.
I was hoping he'd come back to Ottawa.
Fair enough.
Contract protection, 3 years, a shade under $3 million.
Thanks, man. Boeser do believe Boeser left some money on the table to stay in Vancouver. Honestly, yeah, I can kind of agree with that. Boeser could have probably done more.
I think he left some money on the table. 100%.
For sure. He could have gotten more. He did not. There's the Connor Brown. There's the Connor Brown signing. And Joel Armia as well going to be a...
Yeah, Frank reporting here that Joel Armia will be joining Los Angeles as well.
Data is devastated.
Or Data.
Joel Armia will be an LA King.
So the Kings seem so bipolar to me because last season they finally figured out, we can play fast hockey now that we have, Quentin Byfield and Kevin Fiala and all these faster players. And they've completely swung in the opposite direction this offseason by getting slower, older players like Corey Perry and Kuzmenko and now Joel Armia is not slow, but doesn't quite fit the mold of what they had before. So they're going back and forth. It is making me spin.
It's a weird position if you're in for the Kings as well. You're looking at what we were thinking about the Kings possibly being able to get, a Mitch Marner, a Brock Boeser, stuff like that, and now you're ending up with Corey Perry as your name so far. Joel Armia. I don't know. That seems like something's happened that has not allowed them to get a lot of stuff going for them. Also, apparently, the Flyers, we're going back to that for a second. Dan Vladar will be going to the Philadelphia Flyers on a 2-year deal, $3.35 million.
All right, so we look at the Kings depth chart here. I don't know. Corey Perry will fit in, third, fourth line, maybe.
Same with Armia.
So,
yeah, that's your setup there.
Are they just not going to give their young guys a chance? I guess Turcotte's 24 now.
Los Angeles, of course not.
No, yeah, you don't give them an opportunity. You still run Kopitar, Kuzmenko, Kempe, Quinn Byfield, Fiala, Laferriere, who they still
Los Angeles and Detroit are in this weird game of chicken about who will play their prospects the least.
Exactly. I mean, at least for Detroit, they made the decision to sign him. Who knows what's happening with the Kings on their end?
Yep, They do have Laferriere to sign.
Yeah, they got $19 million in cap space to sign Laferriere. And then they've got guys like Jeannot. You've got Gavrikov, who's not going to be sticking around. Riddick, who's not sticking around. They got to get a goaltender as well. So
yeah, unless
Kemper.
Well, Vladar's off the board, as you just said.
Yeah, Vladar's off the board. He's gone to Philadelphia. Riddick most likely not sticking around in LA. So possibly you gotta think of like maybe LA's making a trade for a goaltender. I don't know what other goalies are available in free agency at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty thin out there.
It's quite thin on the goalie market out there.
So yeah, you gotta think like maybe a trade's going down. To get
all right, so let's just jump back to Philly because
Philly, Dan Vladar, we were talking about it. He is now a Philadelphia Flyer, which is interesting considering they already have Fedotov and Urson as goalies. So you'd think maybe if I'm LA, I'm looking at one of those two possibly as a backup.
Yeah, I can see a trade partner here with Fedotov here.
Yeah, you could be looking again that to back up Kemper. Does that give Philly a number one goalie at this point in Dan Vladar? Maybe. I don't know. He doesn't have
1A, 1B with Sam Urson, perhaps.
Possibly something like that, or a 1A, 1B with Fedotov if they aren't trading him. They're trading Urson instead. Get some things for that.
That's interesting. What?
Very interesting as well. Like, yeah, and again, they still have to. Philly signing Vladar. They've still gotta worry about signing Cam York.
They do have to sign King. Yep. So here it is. Dan Vladar off to Philadelphia.
The $3.35 million
AAV.
Which that brings Philly, I believe, down to somewhere in the $5 million range.
In the 5 range. Yeah.
So $5 million to sign Cam York.
Mike Black telling LA to trade for Corby. Boston doesn't need him after bringing DPS.
You don't need Korpisalo after Mike.
He was there before, and then he left for Ottawa, which, yikes, that didn't work.
Yeah, it definitely works. Thank you, Jay Fresh. Dan Vladar is a goalie.
Dan Vladar, how much do y'all think Bruin will get, and where will he sign?
Good question.
It's a very good question. I could see, as we mentioned already, I could see him going back to Colorado. I think he gets around $5 million.
I think he gets especially if he's in Colorado. Yeah, I think he gets a $5 million deal. Something along those lines. I also just completely missed this. Gage Goncalves signed an extension in Tampa, 2 by 1.2. 2
by 1.2.
Yeah, for Mr. Gage Goncalves.
Goncalves back to Tampa Bay. Oh, here it is. Bottom 6 forward-checking winger who's actually got a bit of passing ability. Does not shoot the puck.
Does not shoot the puck at all.
All right, so depth
piece, which definitely works well. I didn't even think about this well. Just looking at Tampa's team, they do have one other guy that they might have to worry about, and that is Nick Perbix. Which who knows if he's sticking around?
Yeah, I don't think. Well, it's possible. Perbix could stick around, but I don't. Tampa's got 4.2. Perbix is arguably the best right-handed defenseman on the market.
Mm-hmm. Second biggest name on the market returning. What a frenzy this free agent day is. All right, Mike Bartner.
Yeah, Hedman, Moser, McDonough, Chernak, Lilleberg, Radish. I don't know if Perbix will be back.
I don't think Perbix will be back, so that could definitely be something teams are going to want to look at, especially on the defensive end. Well, obviously, the defensive end, he is a defenseman. And, yeah, 1-year deal for what? Okay. Corey Perry's salary plus bonuses total around $3.5 million.
Oh, breaking news. I'll just flip over to Twitter. I think we all saw it coming.
Oh, yeah, there it is, Gavrikov.
But here it is, Vladislav Gavrikov.
Ranger.
Is a New York Ranger.
We saw it coming. Pierre LeBrun reporting it. Gavrikov will be a New York Ranger. Well, how about that?
7 years, 49 total. 7x7?
7x7 then for Gavrikov, yeah.
All right, let's jump to the New York Rangers.
Yep, there it
While
is.
you do that,
7x7.
I was going to quickly run down. I finally got a list of free agent goaltenders since we were talking about that.
Okay.
So
Lovely.
All right, let's
it's probably headlined by Ilya Samsonov,
Yikes.
and then Vitek Vanacek, Anton Forsberg, Alexander Georgiev, not the other Georgiev.
Not the other one.
James Reimer is still out there, and David Riddick.
Okay.
I swear, like all of those guys except for Forsberg have played for the Leafs.
But at some point, yeah.
That sounds right.
At some point,
Georgiev
all
has
played for the Leafs.
Samsonov, Reimer.
So that's the quality of goaltender you're talking about. If you need one, good luck.
Good.
Yeah, it's a backup goaltender that is not going to do a whole lot for you. So with Rangers signing Gavrikov now, that does beg the question, does that mean that we will not be seeing K'Andre Miller back in New York?
It's true. Michael Ack in the chat says bye-bye Cooley, so I'm looking here. It doesn't look like he is offer sheet ineligible. So
Yeah, it does not look like it.
all right, off to the Rangers depth chart.
Let's take a look right at it.
Let's just go skip the forwards, because who cares, and right to the bench.
It is.
All right.
So Gavrikov slides right in there, lefty in the spot of Miller.
I think Gavrikov will probably play with Fox.
So, yeah, jumps up to play with Fox. You got Fox, Gavrikov, Borgen, Susi, Vakanainen, and Schneider.
Which is fine. I think
if you could sign K'Andre Miller to that deal, wouldn't that be better than Gavrikov? I don't know.
Possibly. But now with that taking place, that might just mean that Miller gets moved or something like that. Maybe Miller doesn't stick around.
Yeah, I think the most likely scenario here now is K'Andre Miller gets traded.
Yeah. He's not offer sheet. He is offer sheet eligible, but I don't know if teams will be doing that.
I think Mighty Joe in the chat saying probably 2 years on Armia. Okay, LA.
Okay, then.
No, I think Gavrikov will fit well with the Rangers. It's just will they trade Miller? Will they sign him? I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. Which one do they go for? Do they go
teams will be calling.
Yeah, teams should definitely be now calling for a guy like K'Andre Miller.
Let's see. Does Jay Fresh have a Gavrikov card up?
Do they have that card up for Gavrikov?
Here it is. So Vladislav Gavrikov, signed 7x7 by the Rangers, is a top-pairing shutdown defenseman. Plays a simple stay-at-home game with little puck time and not a ton of physicality, but an active stick and solid frame. This season, he ranked very high in terms of stick checks and entry denials.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah, the card, you can see it. Defensively, very strong. Contract will take until he's 36. Will not play the power play.
Absolutely. Okay, yep. Interesting.
All right.
Very interesting on Gavrikov. I think Connor Brown might have just got a 4x3 million.
Oh, Dice had to leave, but we'll be back later if needed. He's always welcome back.
Always welcome back, Dice. Always welcome to make your way back in here.
All right, so let's just check out the chats again.
Let's check it out.
How's it going? We're just watching along with free agency and talking about all the signings. Jeez, I can see San Jose trading for Miller. That would be... Yeah.
Except, actually, hold on a minute. No, might not be the case. It looks like it might be Keandre Miller with the Rangers working on a deal to Carolina.
Carolina.
We were just messing around. We were just talking about that. Is the team going to go after Keandre Miller? Carolina might be that team. They've got the money for it. They could work with it.
I had Gene Principe here, 4 years for Connor Brown in New Jersey.
Yeah, 4 years for Connor Brown in New Jersey. That is a $3 million contract for Connor Brown.
Martin Ferravari extended.
Yeah, he gets extended the 7x7, I believe.
All right, so let's jump over to Carolina once again.
Right over. They didn't re-sign Brent Burns. They didn't sign Dmitry Orlov. Getting Keandre Miller, I don't know. I think that might mean that neither one of them are being re-signed at this point.
Could hear a deal shortly. Yep. There it is from Mighty Joe in the chat.
There it is.
Miller could be on the move to Carolina.
Carolina Hurricanes could most likely getting Keandre Miller from the Rangers. Question is, though, what is going back?
Are the Blackhawks making any moves? We haven't seen anything yet.
They made one. They got Sam Lafferty back.
They got Sam Lafferty.
That's it so far for Chicago.
All right, so could hear a deal shortly.
Could hear a deal shortly for Keandre Miller. Yeah, that's the question, though. What goes back the other way if you're Carolina? We're looking at picks. We're looking at roster players. What are we looking at here?
I'd say picks probably.
Most likely. I think they maybe use one of their
They
two.
do have that extra first.
Yeah, they got the extra first. They could use one of their 2026 first round picks.
Mighty Joe reading their minds. What is Carolina's draft pick situation? They've got 2 firsts.
2 firsts, one from themselves, one from Dallas.
And a second, and then they have 2 sixths for the 2026 draft.
For sure.
And then 2027, they have their first or second, 2 thirds, 4th, 2 fifths, 6th, and 7th. So yeah, I could see Miller for picks, I think.
Yeah, that does seem like more likely. And then that will definitely mean that no Orlov, no Brent Burns coming back, because then you've got a fixed defense of Slavin, Walker, Gostisbehere, Chatfield, Miller, and then one of Nikishin or Morrow.
Speaking of, surprising the Canes would trade for him. I thought Nikishin would be their second pair lefty sooner rather than later. I was thinking that too, actually.
I did think about that as well, but maybe they're holding off a little bit on Nikishin. Or is Nikishin possibly going back the other way?
It's possible. I don't see
it. Yeah, I doubt it as well, but who knows with NHL teams? They could do crazy
things. Who knows with NHL teams is right.
Yeah.
Miller probably slots in second pair behind Slavin. Gostisbehere either drops to the third pair or he switches to the right side. I don't know how well any of these guys can play the right sides, but
Yeah, Sean Walker's your best right D option. And he's already
Sean Walker, Jalen Chatfield, Scott Morrow as of now.
Yeah, so looks like there's a chance that either one of those guys will be on their way out, or Nikishin might not be playing this year for Carolina.
It's true. Peter Baugh here confirming that the Rangers are working on a deal to send Keandre Miller to the Hurricanes. See
Okay.
what happens. Love divisional trades. Super exciting.
Interesting enough, the Rangers did send a qualifying offer to Keandre Miller. So maybe not signing that qualifying offer.
Yeah, I expect he'll probably negotiate a new deal with Carolina.
Absolutely.
I think you'll like this one. I just saw it as I flipped back to Twitter.
Oh boy.
Toronto closing in on forward Michael Pezzetta.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, Joe in the chat here.
There we go.
Pezzetta to Toronto.
Here we go.
There's your Mitch Marner replacement.
There's the replacements. There we go. Up there's the J Fresh card up on store for Keandre Miller. A top 4 two-way defender with superb mobility, has a long reach defensively but can get caught chasing or drifting out of position, exposing lanes to the net. A solid passer and puck carrier in transition and the offensive zone.
Yeah, he's a top 4 two-way defender.
Okay.
I think he'll fit in Carolina. I like the fit.
He definitely.
We'll go to the micro stats here.
Okay. Thank you both, Michael and Landon. Tanner Jeannot is a Boston Bruin.
Oh, no.
Tanner Jeannot, 5 years at $3.4 million to the Boston Bruins. Oh, boy.
The Sens have pursued Tanner Jeannot, but sounds like he has other options.
Yeah, it looks like the options are that.
Other options is here.
Yep. Flyers just spent $9 million on Christian Dvorak and Dan Vladar.
Here we go. Bruins signed Tanner Jeannot, 5 years, $3.4 million.
Years at $3.4 million, and there it is. Pezzetta, 2 years, $787K with the Leafs. There it is.
Pezzetta to the Leafs. All right.
Pezzetta is a Leaf. Oh boy.
There it is. Michael Pezzetta. Entry fee. 3 hockey player cards. Okay, so this is kind of like J Fresh. Let's look at these guys. Why not? Michael Pezzetta.
Michael Pezzetta.
Yeah, he's a fourth liner and not much else.
That's about it. Hey, listen. I mean, it's basically league minimum. Whatever.
There's your big move.
There's the Leafs' big move of
free gonna pop in right here. Ottawa was rumored to be talking about Jeannot, and it's like, yeah, I'm good. Glad we didn't do that. I agree here. Tanner Jeannot.
Yeah, Tanner Jeannot. Boston Bruins. Two Atlantic Division things back to back as well.
Jeannot feels like a Bruin. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. So with Pezzetta, I can't even believe I'm saying Michael Pezzetta is a Toronto Maple Leaf. With Pezzetta now in there, though, that most likely leaves Holmberg out, Robertson out, and then one of Kampfer Yarncrow might be gone at this point in time.
Might be gone. All right, so as you can see here, where's he fit?
Where does he? That is also the question. Where does he fit on this team? Maybe he's the 13th forward, honestly.
That I could see that.
Maybe he's your 13th forward. You've got Matthews, Nyes, Nylander, Tavares, Domi, Michelli, Lawton, McMahon, Yarncrow, with Waugh, Lorentz, Kampf. Maybe Pizzetta goes there instead of Kampf. I don't know.
Speaking of Toronto, I think they should go for Drouin. All right, Golden, what do we think?
I think I'd be down to see Jonathan Drouin in Toronto. It'd be a nice piece. They do need some help on the left wing with their guys being Nyes, McMahon, and that's kind of it right now. So getting a guy like Drouin to play in the top 6, maybe you got a guy with like Tavares, Michelli, Drouin, or if Nylander's still there, you get something like that. I'd be down to see that. You at least have the money to make it work. So I'd be set for Jonathan Drouin to the Leafs.
I assume in that case, Domi would go down to the 3rd line, and then Yarncrow to the 4th line, and what have you.
Absolutely, yeah. Pizzetta there now. Leafs just a little bit over $5 million in cap space. We were talking about Drouin possibly getting $5 million. There's $5 million right there.
There's $5 million right there. Mighty Joe reporting Colin White has re-signed in San Jose for a year.
Yep, did see that.
I like that.
2-year deal for Colin White.
Storm to the Wild. Jack's got to be loving that one.
Yeah, Jack will be overjoyed by that one. And there's the contract as well for Joel Armia, $2.5 million.
Dice comes in. Keandre to Carolina is so sick.
Yep, there you go. There you go, Dice. Keandre Miller is a Carolina Hurricane, and Hopsy, there you go.
Ottawa officially signs Nick Cousins.
There you go.
1 year, $825,000.
Nick Cousins remains.
Armia at 2.5. I don't know.
$2.5 million for Joel Armia on the LA Kings. 2 years, 2.5.
I don't know if I like 2.5, but yeah.
2.5 on that.
All right. Jump back over to Jay Fresh again. Now that we got some cards up.
There we go.
Briefly touched on this one earlier, but Connor Brown signed 4 years, $3 million by the Devils. Middle 6 rushing winger. Did a lot better in Edmonton year 2 than year 1. Carry the puck in transition, generate chances for himself and his line mates. Skating ability makes him an asset defensively at 5v5 and penalty kill.
There you go. Connor Brown, a New Jersey Devil.
He can certainly create penalty kill opportunities, but unfortunately, he misses more than he scores them.
Absolutely.
There's Tanner Jeannot.
There's Tanner Jeannot.
Low event depth winger who does practically nothing with the puck and punishes opposing players who try to do things with it. So, yeah, that.
Tanner Jeannot. That is. I don't know. That's something, all right.
Feels like an overpay, but
a little bit of an overpay on Tanner Jeannot. 5 years at $3.4 million.
I feel like he'll probably fit in better in Boston than some other places in the league. So
yeah, for sure. Now, I mean, obviously, we can talk about this as well. Ottawa re-signing Nick Cousins. What's your thought process on that?
He'll be 13th forward, 4th line. He was decent last year when he was healthy. A little more offense would be nice, but he's a vet. I don't hate it. Like, it's a depth signing. There's not I'd like for them to do a little bit more, but I don't hate the signing. Like 1 year, 4th line.
Listen, Nick Cousins, I believe, a former Stanley Cup champion as well. So
former Cup champion. I will say I'm whelmed.
Whelmed by the Nick Cousins signing. All right.
Yep, Pizzetta to the Leafs. Suns just made it official. Yeah. Someone at this rate, someone's going to give Hamonic 3 years at $4 million. Oh boy, please no.
It's an off season of overpayments by chance.
All right, so we'll jump back to here now. Mighty Joe was late. Did you guys chat about the Marner trade? If not, would love to hear your thoughts and giggles alike.
Oh, we did talk a little bit about it earlier when Dice was on here.
And then stuff started happening.
Then stuff went down. Just to kind of reiterate, for me, I think it's a good thing for the Leafs that they managed to get something for Mitch Marner, because I was expecting them to lose Marner for nothing, but getting a roster player in Waugh, I think that is still good work for a guy who wasn't going to be re-signing with the team, for a guy who wasn't going to be sticking around or extending or anything like that. So turning nothing into a roster player, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Leafs got worse because you're not going to replace Marner's production with Michelli and Nick Waugh, and Pizzetta.
Oh yeah, of course, and Pizzetta.
But they got something from Marner instead of him walking, which is better than nothing.
Yeah, it's better than nothing at all. So it's not a bad situation for them. It's just a matter of now. This is probably the step back year for him. So definitely a little tougher, but you gotta take it from that type of perspective.
Exactly.
There you go. Gavrikov as well. Gavrikov's full contract's been put in. A lot of signing bonus on the contract.
A lot of signing bonus.
Yeah.
These guys were a hot topic earlier, so we'll jump back to it a little bit. Sounds like the Flyers are done for now.
It does look like it. Yeah, it does look like the Flyers are done for right now.
Anthony DeMarco, and you have to assume they're waiting for Maxim Shabanov's decision before making their next move.
Yeah, there you go. So Flyers leaving $5.5 million on the table for Cam York. Very interesting stuff. That is what we are looking at here. Also, it seems like Vladar, an 8-team no trade list on that $3.35 million contract.
8-team no trade list.
An 8-team no trade list. According to Puckpedia.
Interesting.
So a little bit of protection on them as well.
All right, so let's jump back over to the Athletics Live NHL free agent big board.
Let's take a look and see who is still available, who continues. Obviously, big name is Nikolai Ehlers, but we have seen that there's most likely the case that Ehlers is not going to get done today.
Doesn't sound like Ehlers will get done today.
So that is something big for a little bit later on, that Ehlers will be not getting signed today.
Boeser is signed in Vancouver. Returns home.
If he sticks around, Gavrikov goes to the Rangers.
Cale Granlund's still out there. He's probably in line for a decent payday.
Oh yeah, especially if we're seeing these contracts going out to guys like Tanner Jeannot and Christian Dvorak and all those guys. Yeah, Granlund should be due for a big payday.
Jake Allen, top goalie off the board, stayed in New Jersey.
Absolutely. PS2.
Dmitry Orlov, Brent Burns, talked with them. And Jack Roslovic.
Jack Roslovic, yeah, that's another one as well. Roslovic, another center.
3 Carolinas.
Yep, 3 Hurricanes, one of them being 40-year-old Brent Burns.
And Jonathan Drouin is still out there. Ryan Lindgren, Mangiapane, Grizzly, Cece. It's a bit of a weaker class than normal.
It definitely is a weird class. Because you have the big names that have already stuck around and re-signed, and that is kind of all that there is now, because the rest of them are just extra little pieces for teams to add in. Even Granlund, who's like the fourth highest player, I wouldn't classify as a big name in the free agency pool in comparison to guys like Boeser and Ehlers. I don't know. Might be a hot take, but that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, there's like Dadonov, Nyquist, Naismith, Corey Perry, 1 year. It's looking to be about 3.5, I believe I saw Mighty Joe put in the chat on Corey Perry.
Yeah, Corey Perry 1 year, 3.5.
Oh boy. Sorry, just sending a message off here. Okay, Appleton, Beauvillier, doing kind of round, 4 years at $3 million with
New Jersey Devils.
Taylor Radish, Nick Perbix. I'm surprised he's 25th on this list, actually.
Yeah, that's a little surprising for Perbix.
Jeff Skinner, Armia, Pontus Holmberg, there he is.
Yeah, there's Pontus Holmberg.
Jacob Bernard Docker, Nick Bukestad,
Brendan Tanev,
Lars Eller, Tony D'Angelo, stayed in the island, Kovalenko, John Klingberg, Ilya Samsonov, Gorgiev, Alex Lyon. There's the goalies.
Yeah, the goalies finally make their way in here at that point in time. Okay. Well, assistant coach signing for Dallas. Otherwise, nothing else to report.
Reed says he believes no Ehlers news today. Yep.
No Ehlers news today. Yeah,
Don't expect any Ehlers news today.
Yeah, our big news today was Boeser re-signing in Vancouver.
Christian Dvorak, the 40th ranked free agent with a $5.4 million.
Yep. That is
Kuznetsov. I saw something late last night about maybe Kuznetsov coming back to the NHL.
Yeah, they were talking about that. They were talking about Kuznetsov not going back to Carolina, but going back to the NHL at some point. So that could be somebody that teams could.
2011 IHF World Championship for Pete Granlund, the Michigan goal, like it was yesterday. There it is, Mikhail Granlund.
Mikhail Granlund. I love it.
All right, so there's Vladar and Tanner Jeannot.
Yeah, all these guys down here are getting signed for big contracts.
Big contracts. Mighty Joe saying Kevin DuPont noted per Jeannot to Boston. His hit in Nashville led to the end of Zaboral's career as a Bruin.
Okay.
Which is quite unfortunate for Jakub Zaboral, but now, as you know, is a Boston Bruin.
Absolutely.
And Thomas Nosek re-signed in Florida earlier this morning. But Florida's keeping the band back together again.
That Nosek's sticking around. Yeah, Florida really did just say we're running the whole team back.
Except Nico Sturm. Apparently he's off to Minnesota. And then you get into a bunch of depth options that really aren't that great.
Yep.
Adam Gaudette scored 19 goals last year. He's probably looking for a payday. I wouldn't mind him back in Ottawa if he wants under $2 million, but anything else, I think he's officially priced himself out.
That's basically it. Also, congratulations to the LA Kings for advancing to the 2026 Stanley Cup Final. Oh, boy.
Yeah, congratulations to the LA Kings for losing to the Florida Panthers in the 2025-26 Cup Final.
That'll be. There we go, everybody. The Stanley Cup Final is now locked immediately. It will be LA Kings versus Florida Panthers. Expect the Panthers to three-peat.
Third line, Jeannot, Beecher, Watra. It's certainly possible. And then continuing to scroll through the list, David Riddick, yeah, Peltier, Gavrikov, Blackwell back to Dallas. Raphael Harvey Pinard, free agent. Second bank, Mike Ryder. It gets thin.
It gets very thin. It gets thin very quick.
This is a, Michael Pezzetta, number 89.
89. And he gets signed.
Honor Sherry, Arthur Kaliev. I remember when he was going to be like the next big goal scorer.
Yeah, they were talking about Kaliev, and now he has definitely not lived up to that.
It's unfortunate. Ryan Suter's out here.
Yeah, there he is. Leafs, yeah, it does say Leafs are actively shopping both Calle Yarncrow and David Kampf. So that was also 12 hours ago, so who knows what that could be happening now.
All right, here we go.
David, can I get a recap? Okay.
Gino signed in Boston, Gavrikov to the Rangers, who are working on a Keandre Miller trade to Carolina. The Flyers are throwing around ridiculous money to Christian Dvorak and Dan Vladar. Corey Perry and Joel Armia to LA. Connor Brown to New Jersey. Jake Allen, big years extension. And what did I forget? Michael Pezzetta.
And Michael Pezzetta. Did you mention Boeser still in Vancouver?
I forgot. Brock Boeser has re-signed in Vancouver.
There you
7
go.
years, $7.25 million a season.
That's the big news. Boeser.
How did I forget that one?
I don't know. How's that the one you managed to forget? You get all the other pieces, including Michael Pezzetta, and then you miss Boeser.
I miss Boeser.
But yeah, there you go, Data. There's a little 60-second recap for you.
All that talk on Boeser for nothing. Yeah.
All that talk about nothing.
Speaking of Gino to the Bruins,
let's get him in here. Let's get Michaelak.
We've got put me in, coach. I'm off from work.
Brilliant, Brian Michaelak. Welcome in, buddy. How you feeling, man?
I'm not feeling good about Tanner Jeannot, I can tell you that much.
Wow. Yeah, fair enough.
Straight to the point.
I mean, if it was a 2-year deal, I could stomach it. But for 5 years, not a chance.
5 years on Tanner Jeannot at $3.4 million.
Because all he's going to be, like the Bruins have made, or at least Don Sweeney has, this commitment to getting back to being a defensively strong team, which means your offense takes a hit. But at the same time, like Jeannot doesn't give you any defense. He's just a guy out there to hit. So he's a third or fourth line checking forward. And we've got plenty of third liners. We don't need another third or fourth liner.
Oh yeah, shout out to Victor Arvidsson, as you mentioned.
It just it grinds my gears, man, I'm telling you. Like, I wasn't looking for them to do anything crazy, but a 5-year contract for Jeannot, that's too much crazy.
Oh yeah.
Does he not seem like a typical Don Sweeney signing though?
It looks like a Don Sweeney signing though.
Well, what scares me is like Don's got a fantastic history of pulling off trades. And so my full expectation was that Zacha was going to get dealt somewhere and we were going to get a decent draw back, and that we were just going to hold some cap space and be a team that, was there if another team needed to dump a contract. A 1 or a 2-year deal left for somebody high value, one of these teams that needs to drop some, like Vancouver or Vegas. Yeah. Like we could be a team to pull a contract in with a little bit of a kickback, ride it for another year, and then go into next offseason with close to $30 million in cap space with a very good free agency class.
I mean, that is kind of what they did in a sense with bringing in Victor Arvidsson. I would say that because he's got the 1-year contract and it cost him a fifth to do so.
Yeah, so like Arvidsson I've got no problem with. Arvidsson will shoot the puck. So he might not score all the goals, but he's going to put the puck on net. And then we've got guys that can hang out in front of the net and pick up some rebounds. That's fine. But Jeannot, that is a waste of 5 years, 3.4 million a year. That is a waste.
Oh yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, this is a fun one. The Montreal Canadiens, according to Frank Saravalli, have signed Data 782 Hall of Famer Capo Kakinen.
And here it is in the chat too. The Habs signed
Yeah.
Capo Kakinen.
Capo Kakinen.
I guess they'll fight with Dobish for the.
Okay. Well, I was about to say that. Thank you, Landon. Ryan Lindgren is a Seattle Kraken.
We talked about him earlier and maybe going back to Colorado, but
not the case. 4 years at $4.5 million in the Seattle Kraken.
They're going to be the sneaky team this year.
Oh, absolutely. Little sneaky Seattle Kraken team. They had $18 million in cap space as well before even making the signing. You still got Riker Evans, Capo Caco.
Depth chart here. So push Cale Fleury to 7th defenseman, which I think is ideally what you want.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you got Dunn, you got Evans, you got Lindgren there. On the other end, you get Larson with Montour and probably Alexiak.
What I think is so interesting about free agency this year is like you've got all these initial signings here, and like Boeser going back to Vancouver is probably the biggest one. Whenever the Ehlers deal happens, will be the biggest deal. But what I'm more interested in is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, when all the contracts come out for what these guys are offering restricted free agents.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of them on the market, and for like the Rangers are, they make a couple signings. Well, now they're down, so I thought the Bruins were going to be in play for Will Cooley, but instead we signed Tanner Jeannot. But there are a ton of guys out there where you get Vegas doesn't have picks, but like the Kings have their picks. Like they could be in play on a restricted free agent.
Absolutely, it's definitely something to think about there. But that's not what they did. Bruins didn't do that.
You're saying if I'm Seattle, I'm not mad at that. He puts his heart and soul into every shift.
Absolutely, 4.5 for 4 years on that for a guy who can do that type of thing. I'm all right with that if I'm the Kraken as well.
Yeah, it seems like a solid deal here for Seattle.
Yep, you've got your 6 guys now. Once you go about re-signing Riker Evans, you've got your 6 defensemen, and it's looking like a really good defensive core.
Yeah,
all Seattle needs is for those young guys to grow into their roles.
Absolutely, you're looking at like Capo Caco, Shane Wright, Beniers, a bunch of those young guys to start growing a little bit. And then
they traded
got
for
a good
team. Plus they got Berkeley Catton in the system.
Oh yeah.
They have Jake O'Brien. I wouldn't expect him this year or maybe even next year, but
absolutely, yeah.
Don't they have Sale as well?
They have Edward Chalet, yep.
Yep, they got Sale. Yeah. They got who they get this draft?
Jake O'Brien.
Yeah, Jake O'Brien, yeah.
They're in a good spot.
They do, yeah, they are in a really good spot.
Problem is they have 0 defensive prospects, which is why they have to go sign defensemen in free agency.
Absolutely, yeah. But I mean, they got
that's what's
Price, Ty Nelson. That's kind of it. Greg Savick.
I was surprised they drafted O'Brien over Murtka.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. Yeah,
I think they should have went with Murtka, but I mean, they liked O'Brien better, it seems. So we'll just get defensemen through free agency for now, I guess.
Keep on getting them.
All right, so we'll wait for the J Fresh card on Ryan Lindgren. All right. Let's see what else is going on here. Tyler Yamamoto is a Utah Mammoth.
There you go. Yamamoto is a Utah Mammoth. Okay.
Yamamoto to the Mammoth. And yikes!
Oh.
I say yikes because Michaelak is here, and this is I'm gonna pull this up. It goes back to what he was saying about Tanner Jeannot.
Oh no.
But the Bruins could have extended Brad Marchand to make him a Bruin for life, and instead they're spending their money like this.
Oh no. Oh.
It stings a little bit, but it's been a couple months, so like I'm happy Brad was able to win another cup.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just like I expect the Bruins to be in lingo again next season.
Absolutely. Actually,
maybe not bottom 5, but I don't expect them to push for a playoff spot next season.
For sure, yeah. And actually, while you're talking about Brad Marchand right now, I actually do want to get your opinion on the Marchand contract, the 6 years at 5.25 for Florida. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean he's not going to play for 6 years. I don't think.
No, definitely not.
But the money's guaranteed for him, so I'm happy he got the bag. He was only going to get a 3-year deal. I think the highest the Bruins put out in front of him was 7.5. So you're looking at 24 mil. He's able to get an extra 9. Good for him. He wasn't going to come back to Boston, and not because of animosity or bad blood or anything. He has the opportunity to cash in while he can still play, and I don't blame him for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only that, just a chance to win as well in Florida. Really, your best chance to win. So take the advantage.
Because if I'm him, I don't take that contract from Boston because Boston is not set up to win the way Florida is.
Absolutely. Also, yeah, I just see that from my. Sorry about that. David Riddick.
Islanders signed David Riddick. Dennis Gilbert did sign in Philly, so I guess they weren't done after I said they were done.
Apparently not, no. But yeah, sorry, go ahead, Mike, whatever you were saying.
There's a lot to be said for loyalty, but in Brad's case, I don't blame him at all. It just, if, and not to say that he's not like a Bergeron caliber player in Boston, because he absolutely is. It's just the Bruins were able to pursue and were able to win and sustain success with Bergeron to keep him around. But if you're going to be in a spot where you can't sustain success, give those guys a shot to win elsewhere.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now I say all that to say don't trade Pasta.
Yeah, well, yeah. don't do that. Absolutely, don't do that.
But then they can go with the full team of third liners.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah,
we look at EA. Apparently, that's how you win in EA.
All right, so the JFresh card is up, even though he says he's signing in Dallas, which is
it's a very odd JFresh card.
Hey Ryan, welcome to the stream. Data's not here, but we're taking over, so hopefully
we're here. We are different people, but we are taking over. Channel members are taking over the free agency coverage for today.
Not to plug anything, but if you become a channel member, these are perks.
Oh, absolutely.
So we highly recommend. It's a fun community. We have a lot of fun talking hockey. And if you become a channel member, these are some perks that you get.
Absolutely. Just perks right there. And shout out, the Blues signing Nick Bjugstad, 2-year deal, 1.75.
Yep, there's Nick Bjugstad.
There he is, right there.
I guess he'll take Bolduc's spot in the lineup from that trade earlier. And so, correct card is up according to Mighty Joe. All right, here we go.
There we go. There's the actual card.
There we go. Signed by Seattle. It's a defensive defenseman. He's pretty mobile, plays bigger than his frame, block shots, kills penalties. He also torpedoed Adam Fox's numbers and had worse results than a good Avs team on the regular season and playoffs.
All right. a 0% projected wins above replacements, but you're there for the defensive side of things for Lindgren.
Yeah, he's there for his defense. You don't expect much offense from him.
Yeah.
Looked away for a few minutes, saw the Dallas card for Lindgren. Thought it was for a
No,
second.
I know. I
I
saw that. I saw it as well. I was like, "What? Huh? What do you mean, Jay Fresh? What do you
Yeah,
mean,
Jay
Dallas?"
Fresh had this. He had it messed up here.
Oh, it's Seattle. Okay, wait.
Yeah. Parker Wotherspoon to Pittsburgh, 2 years, $1 million a season.
There you go, Dice. Pittsburgh's done something today.
When Dice gets back, we'll have to get his thoughts on that. For Sarah Valley, the Flames closing in on Ivan Prosvetov.
All right.
Yeah, and there's the Nick Bukestad signing. Hooray! There he is. Yeah, Parker Wotherspoon. Hooray!
Parker Wotherspoon's not a bad signing for Pittsburgh, though. He's a real good defenseman, and like he played in Boston the last couple of years, and last year he got a lot of run time with all the injuries we had, and I thought he played real well. There were times where he kind of slipped out of position, but overall, as a defensive defenseman, I thought he played fantastic.
Absolutely. There you go. Ryan Lindgren, sorry, in Seattle, signed on.
Lindgren officially in Seattle. All right, let's jump back over here for a second and let's go back to Gavrikov now that we have an article out.
And now
Contract trades. Gavrikov's deal is fine, but does it make sense for the Rangers? Let's see. Shayna Goldman and Mark Lazarus from The Athletic. The contract. Gavrikov signed a 7-year contract, $7 million average annual value with the New York Rangers. Gavrikov is a better player than Ivan Provorov, and considering Provorov just got 7 years at $8.5 to stay in Columbus, this is undeniably a good deal for the Rangers. Scarcity of quality defenders on the market. Gavrikov, now the number 1, Dynamite number 2 or 3, can assume an all-important shutdown role either alongside or behind Adam Fox. Surely could have broken the bank elsewhere, but he wanted to go to New York, and New York wanted him. This is hardly a surprise. What exactly are the Rangers doing here? Coming off a dismal season, saw them go from President's Trophy to missing the playoffs. What's the plan? Shedding Trouba and Kreider, then they sign a 29-year-old defenseman to Max Sherman, and they'll likely sell low on Keandre Miller. This is a big portion here. There are talks. They're finalizing a deal to send him to Carolina. We do not know the return. Aaron's 33, Zbender 32, Miller 32, Trocheck 31. Rangers seem to think they can win next year, but they do have one of the best goalies in Shesterkin. He's a good player, good contract, but is it a good signing? Contract grade A, fit grade B-.
Okay, interesting.
That was Mark Lazarus, and now Shayna says heading into free agency, Gavrikov, a prime overpayment target, bet on himself with a 2-year contract in Los Angeles. Gave him a chance to show what he could do outside of Columbus. He proved he's an excellent shutdown defenseman, and that's something teams were even looking for. Maybe even more so now after Panthers went back-to-back, thanks in part to their suffocating defense. All of that with the rising cap and thin defense market, especially after Ekblad and Provorov extended early. Gavrikov's next deal had the potential to be a very regrettable contract.
Okay.
Doesn't the same wear and tear as some veterans at this point in his career. Number isn't perfect. It was never going to be. Middle class is going to benefit from the rising cap. The on-ice fit is strong. Gavrikov's going to be tasked with being a number 2 or number 3 in New York and bring some much-needed defensive stability. whether he plays matchup minutes with Fox or forms a shutdown pairing with Will Borgen. Rangers just have to hope his game doesn't suffer when moving from a structured team such as the Kings to more chaotic surroundings in New York. Contract grade A, fit grade B.
Okay, fair enough. That is an interesting portion there. Also, sorry, I got to interrupt you for a quick second. There, according to Darren Dreger, there are things percolating around Sabres D-man Bowen Byram. Trade conversations looking to happen between Calgary, Vegas, LA, or St. Louis among those interested. Also hearing a potential offer sheet that is being contemplated. So we could be seeing Bowen Byram on the way out today.
I mean, I think it's expected that he's on the way out anyway.
Yeah.
It's
just a matter of where and who.
Where and who.
Whether it be an offer sheet, whether that be a trade, who knows what it's going to be.
Calgary, please just don't go to Vegas.
Yeah, I don't think we need that again.
Please no.
Vegas does not have the money to do so.
Yeah, but you know they'd find a way.
You know they'd find a way. Oh yeah, I agree. They find a way. It's Vegas.
Who do they move to fit him in though?
I mean, there were talks about Hurdle to Carolina. Maybe that's how you get him.
If I'm Carolina, I'm thinking of bagging the Healers. I don't care about Hurdle.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it could be a Byram for Hurdle trade. Maybe Hurdle makes his way over to Buffalo, and then Byram signs in Vegas if that's what they're going to do.
Does Hurdle have a no trade clause or a no movement clause?
He has a modified no trade.
He has something.
He has, let's see, he has a 15-team trade list. About almost half the league.
Something tells me Buffalo is going to be on the wrong half of that list.
I would think so.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah,
I would think so. So I'm not sure how Vegas is getting this done, but if it is them,
unless it's be a 3-team trade.
Could be a
Carolina and Hurdle before.
Yep, could see Hurdle going to Carolina. Carolina getting Byram, or not Byram. Carolina getting Hurdle. Vegas getting Byram, and then somebody else tossing themselves in there. Buffalo getting themselves something from one of them.
All right, Scott Brunovich signs in Utah.
All right, there you go. Scott Brunovich is a Utah Mammoth.
The Isles signed Bear, 1-year league minimum.
Yeah.
And now
I could actually see as well if Byram signs with Calgary. That could be the nail in the coffin for Rasmus Anderson sticking around.
That, as seen here, NHL rumor report says it would be interesting if Vegas signed Bowen Byram because that might take them out of the running for Rasmus Anderson. So if Calgary gets Byram, then maybe Anderson goes to Vegas.
Absolutely, yeah, because they talked about how Anderson only wants to sign in Vegas, nowhere else. That might have to be
now
thing that goes down.
We will jump back to talk about the biggest signing of the day so far, Parker Wotherspoon.
There we go. Dice back. How you doing, buddy?
I'm glad that Michael Ack knew who he was because I didn't. Look, the Penguins need depth. Somebody's going to have to take the minutes that hopefully Erik Karlsson gives up if they trade him. So I'm not saying Witherspoon's going on PP1 or anything, but they need bodies.
Oh, yeah.
I thought for sure we were going back to Vancouver with that setup. Well done. You got me.
Well, we can talk about him. Why not? Here's Parker Wotherspoon.
Let's talk about Parker Wotherspoon.
Played 55 games last year with 7 points and a -10.
I mean, the left-hand side of the Penguins' defense is atrocious, so there is definitely an opening for him to play.
Yeah, they're not great.
He did play both sides defensively as well for Boston.
Absolutely, yeah. If we are looking at the Pittsburgh lineup,
let's jump over to the Pittsburgh Puckpedia page.
So there's just an immediate space right there on the left side. You got Graves, Letang, Shea, Carlson, Clifton, and nobody. So Weatherspoon probably fits himself right there.
Let's see here. Yeah, there's nobody there right now, so I guess that's Parker Weatherspoon's spot for the time being.
That's probably where he goes.
Yeah, so that hopefully that spot ends up being filled by Owen Pickering at some point during the season.
Yeah, agreed. Pickering's got that opportunity for himself.
But even still, like, Ryan Shea should not be a top 4 defenseman. Like, let's be real here.
Yeah, that's very rough.
Yeah, things we got to get done there. They haven't actually re-signed Grzelcyk either, so nothing.
Yeah, I don't know that they will. I think both parties have gotten what they wanted out of that relationship, and it's over. But more breaking Penguins news from Dave Pagnotta. It sounds like they're in on Anthony Mantha, so that'll be fun.
That'll be a fun one there for Pittsburgh.
Anthony
Mantha.
Ride shotgun with Crosby, flip him at the deadline. Profit.
Well, it also frees you up to go ahead and move Rust or Raquel so that you have another right wing that can play a top 6 minute.
It does do that too if you can get a return. I forgot Tommy Novak was a Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
All right, Lincoln, welcome to the stream. Who do you think Tampa's going to get? I don't think they're going to be doing too much.
Yeah, Tampa doesn't look like they'll be doing as much.
So I'll tie this all together here because I had heard a report that Tampa's still in the market for a right wing, even after getting Bjorkstrand last year. They need a right-hand shot on their power play, and so one of these two right wings that we just mentioned, even if Tampa's salary crunched, retain half of it. You know, do you want a Brian Rust for $2.6 million? Like, I'm pretty sure Tampa would jump all over that. Send back Isaac Howard, a draft pick or two. We'll call it done.
That could work.
If I'm Boston, I'm sending them Zaka for Howard and some draft picks.
Yeah, that's a piece everybody should want. If Tampa's going to do anything, it probably revolves around trading Isaac Howard.
Oh, yeah. Isaac Howard, yeah, for sure.
I think so.
And
Tampa's
for anyone
still-
that doesn't know why that is, it's because Howard is an NCAA free agent this time next year. And so he has indicated he doesn't want to play for Tampa, that he wants to turn pro sooner. This is exactly what happened with Rucker McGroarty, who is on the screen currently in that left wing spot. So it would be the same maneuver by Dubas if he were to do it again.
Absolutely. Also, just hearing this now, this could be good for Mike Leck. Jordan Harris, who's not qualified in Columbus, will be heading to Boston.
Northeastern kid
making his way to the Bruins.
Yay, another third liner.
Third pair this time.
That's a defenseman. There.
Oh, third pairing, my bad.
It's your Witherspoon replacement.
There's your Witherspoon replacement. Jordan Harris.
Is he right side or left side?
I think he's a right side.
So Boston, they have a need for a right-handed defenseman or right pairing defenseman. They re-signed Yoki Haru, which kind of filled in that second line spot. But if I'm Boston, I honestly think they're going to move Peak, drop Yoki Haru to the third pair, and then try to figure out a right side.
Oh, if they move Andrew Peak, Data will not be loving that.
Well, unless he goes to Montreal.
Yeah, unless he goes to Montreal, he is an Andrew Peak truther.
I mean, Boston, they made a trade with Montreal during the draft, and that was the first trade they'd had in like 30 years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's insane.
I don't think Lightning is going to strike twice in the same week.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, this Parker Weatherspoon card is actually pretty good.
That is a pretty good card for somebody like that.
Maybe he gets a bit of a
Yeah, that gives me some hope. That
bigger
backs
role
up what
with the
Mike Black
Penguins.
was saying.
Just a little bit of something right there.
I would have loved to have kept him in Boston, but I understand, like, us re-signing Callahan for league minimum is just, it's easy. I mean, you save a little bit of money with a guy that's 2 years younger. So I get it from Boston's perspective and letting him walk, but I thought he did really well last year filling in when our decor was just abysmal and injured.
Absolutely.
Sounds like we were right. Rangers eyeing one of Carolina's firsts.
That's part of that return for Keandre.
Part of that Condre Miller return.
All right.
So Keandre going to the Canes is so sick. They're going to be so pleased with him. I think he fits their style very well.
Oh, absolutely. Also, seeing this report from Chris Johnston, if it is going to be an offer sheet, the compensation would be a first and a third rounder because Byron would be looking around the $7 million range.
Kyle, pick up your phone.
That rules out Vegas.
Kyle, pick up your phone, make something happen. Kyle got They got $18 million to spend.
I don't know if I'm willing to give up a first-round pick if I'm Pittsburgh.
No, not their own first-round pick. If they had another one, then you could make that trade. But definitely not the 26 pick because that's like a McKenna ticket.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, they only have one pick right now, anyways. So it cost them that one first-round pick that they've got, which is their own.
It's official. Provorov is officially re-signing.
Yeah.
That seems like a lot for Ivan Provorov.
It does. Yeah. Feels like a lot.
Yeah, but $8.5 million today is very different than $8.5 million when the cap's $120 million in a couple of years.
Yeah, $8.5 million in like 2028, 2029. It's gonna feel like it's like $4 to $5 million at that point.
Kakanen's contract, 1.15.
1.15 for Capo.
Montreal, who also adds Sammy Blais.
There you go, Montreal. And
right.
Stars got their new head coach, Glenn Gulitson. So I don't know if that's good news for Landon or not, but hey, there you go, new head coach.
I set dice up well with the Parker Weatherspoon thing. Let's actually talk about Brock Boeser now.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk Brock Boeser. We haven't really talked to him that much.
Let's look at the contract grades. Many assume that the door was closed on Boeser returning to Vancouver after the way the last several months unfolded. I also thought he was done.
Oh, yeah.
It's been difficult for teams to land top six forwards, and it's clear Vancouver upped its previous offers. $7.25 million cap hit is quite reasonable and arguably lower than expected. I thought it was going to be higher than that.
Maybe JT Miller was also a problem with him.
Possibly.
And so, like, having Miller gone and just being able to play with Pettersson, like, maybe that's the draw for him.
Could be that.
True. There was rumors that he might want to go to the Rangers because when he was playing with Miller, according to here, they had great chemistry.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Picked up 9 goals and 17 points in 31 games following the Miller trade. Included just 7 5-on-5 points. Wasn't quite able to mesh with Hedl or Pettersson.
Mm-hmm. And also, apparently, Montreal signing Samuel Blas as well for a 1 year, $775K.
Little Sammy Blais.
Sammy Blais.
The contract was a bet worth making for the Canucks team that is in win now mode. Yeah, I think Vancouver was fine with this contract.
Oh, yeah. They're absolutely fine with that contract.
They're such an awkward team to be labeled, like, win now.
I feel odd calling them a win now team.
It is It is a bit strange. They're more of they're a playoff team, but are they a cup contender? I don't know.
I mean, if they've proven anything, they've proven that with a new coach, they'll get something. The last couple of coaches that they brought in, they've immediately had a positive rebound from it.
Yeah. Again, the Canadians signed Capo Kakinen because he's a goalie. Shout out Jay Fresh.
He's a goalie.
He's a goalie. Good on you, Jay Fresh.
All right, let's see. Is there
anything else?
Jump over here. The Nick Bukestad card. 1.75, 2 years in St. Louis. Efficient, offensive, bottom six forward, good on the rush, active and forecheck, reasonably mobile and physical. Tall. Yeah, so it's basically what you expect.
Yeah. Oh, Derek is going off on the William Eklund contract from much earlier. That's one extra $200K buys you, huh? Oh boy. Okay. Brandon Tanev, 3 years, $2.5 million in Utah. Reported by Palm from Elliot Friedman.
Here it is right now.
There it is. Brandon
Tanev.
Not joining Chris Tanev in Toronto, but going to the Utah Mammoth.
I like this for Utah.
Absolutely. You got a nice little bottom six piece in there to help you out.
I think he would have fit nicely on Ottawa's fourth line too.
Mm-hmm. And we'll be seeing a new bug-eyed photo for Brandon Tanev with a New Jersey on now.
New Jersey on. Yes, can't wait for that one. That's going to be good.
What have we seen that now with? Like, we've seen now with Utah, we've seen it with Seattle, we've seen it with
Seattle, Pittsburgh.
Yep. I think it's like maybe the fourth or fifth team that Brandon Tanev is signed on for.
It's so funny. Like that headshot every year.
Every single year.
Goal.
$2.5 million for Brandon Tanev for the next 3 years.
All right. Well, let's segue that into checking out Utah's depth chart.
Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at it.
Especially with the JJ Peterka trade from last week.
Oh, yeah. Definitely got to.
We're over here. So we've got Keller, Cooley, Gunther, Peterka, Hayden, Schmaltz, Kerfoot, McBain, Krause, O'Brien, Stenlund, Yamamoto.
You'd think Tanev probably slots in there replacing Yamamoto.
You expect Tanev probably to slot in on the fourth line right wing here.
Yeah. You would think that. You also got Perunovic there as well for defense with Sergachev, Wade, Jersey, Mata, and DeSimone. You probably get Perunovic in there for DeSimone on the right side.
Well, Valimaki's injured.
But yeah, there is Valimaki. So
slide in here too.
Utah's another team where they've collected all these prospects, and they're reaching a point where like a bunch of those prospects are ready to make the jump, but they don't have any roster space for them.
Exactly, yeah.
Jump back to here. What are your thoughts on the Peterka deal, by the way? This potential to be one of the best trades of the century in a few years. Yeah, I think Utah got a slam dunk with it.
Yeah, it's a slam dunk trade for Utah, absolutely.
Like, depending on how Peterka turns out. Yeah, even if Peterka only, like, he plateaus right now and stays at, like, a 68-point guy, Utah still wins easily.
Yeah. If that's what Peterka's ceiling is, 60 points, stuff like that, oh, yeah, you take that every single time for Kesselring and Josh Doan as the only pieces going back to Buffalo. Yeah, that is a slam dunk Utah win.
Now, granted, Josh Doan could become like the next, I don't know, Shane Doan. But
It could be the case, but who knows?
But Peterka's also a guaranteed 30 goals a year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I think
So
it's a
I'll take
slam
30
dunk.
goals. I'll take 30 goals a year over 20 minutes of defensive play.
Absolutely, from Michael Kesselring and whatever for whatever Josh Doan might become, if he becomes something.
Kesselring's a good defenseman. It's not.
Oh yeah, no slight to
Buffalo got a couple good pieces in the trade. I just think they should have got more.
Yeah, when you're talking about a guy like Peterka, 23 years old, doing all that, yeah, you feel like you could get more if you're Buffalo.
Brandon Tanev,
Brandon Tanev,
fourth line
No,
energy winger, still skates hard, still finishes his checks, but lately hasn't suppressed chances like he used to.
absolutely. Again, you're there for the defense. You're there for that 86% penalty kill. That's what you got Brandon Tanev for.
He's gonna run guys through the boards. And it's pretty much what you expect.
That is what he will do.
Opens up the ice for more skilled guys.
Exactly.
And listen, you got that. You got Clayton Keller. You got Peterka. You got Gunter. You got Schmaltz, Krause, a bunch of those guys. You got a bunch of guys who can do that. And with a guy like Brandon Tanev to open up the ice for that, might as well.
Exactly. I think Tanev will be great in. Well, he won't be great. He'll be good enough.
He'll be a good piece for them, yeah.
He'll be what they need. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
Oh, yeah. So now we still have, if we're looking as well, if we're at the athletic stuff, we still have no news on anything with Mikhail Granlund. Obviously, we're not going to hear anything on Ehlers today, but I knew that part.
Yeah, not going to be much on Ehlers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's give this a quick refresh here, and we will look at the updated big board. If Peterka breaks out and has a 90-plus point, 40-goal season, I wouldn't even be surprised considering Reinhart and Eichel turned out after leaving Buffalo. Yeah, it's...
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, breakout would not shock me. So yeah, Ehlers, we're not expecting much today. Granlund, who knows? We might get it today, we might not. Gavrikov, Boeser off the board. Jake Allen off the board. Ryan Lindgren is now off the board to Seattle. Corey Perry off to LA. Connor Brown. I guess Perry's contract isn't official yet. They're
Like it is just
probably something with bonus structure, all that fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Joel Armia, Nick Bukestad now off the board. Brandon Tanev off the board. So yeah, that's the updated top 40 or so.
Another Ottawa piece. Ole Lyksell, 1 year, $775K in Ottawa. Don't know who that is. Obviously, I'm not sure if you know who that is.
Oh yeah, Steve Stais really making the big signings here now.
There you go, Steve. An AHL stud, apparently.
AHL stud, Holly Lyksell to Ottawa. Winger was in the Philly organization last year. I saw it while scrolling Twitter earlier that Cole Reinhardt's likely not signing back with Ottawa, so I guess this will probably just replace him down in Belleville.
Have they re-signed Gaudette?
They've not re-signed Gaudette yet, no. Gaudette is on the market right now.
I wish Boston would have gone for Gaudette instead of Jeannot.
Instead of Agreed.
I think Yeah, Gaudette is still on the market.
What's with Tanner Chanel and just getting these insane contracts?
I don't know. He's
Hockey men.
Hockey man.
Hockey man.
He plays the kind of hockey that those people like, fast, physical. Do you score goals? Optional.
Optional.
Yep, optional player.
I don't know. In 5 years, maybe $3.4 million is what a fourth liner's going for.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a whole lot. Tristan Allard, 2-year ELC in Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, I don't know who that is, but
I know that.
okay. All right, we jump over here. Kings still have over 70 million in space after adding Perry and Armia so far. We're exploring the trade market for top 4 defensemen, and may also be shopping the likes of Alex Turcotte and Akil Thomas, rather.
Yeah. See, that's where you should be looking immediately. If you're looking for top 4 defensemen, you are looking immediately at Bowen Byram.
Yeah, you need to be calling Buffalo right now. And what do you want?
But
they won't play Brant Clark. Why do they want another one?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you bring in Byram, does that stunt Graham Clark?
That is the thing, yeah.
Or is that a swap because Clark's right-handed?
Clark is right-handed.
You could have a Byram-Clark combo right then and there, and that's your...
Man, that is all gas, no brakes.
That is an all-gas, no-brakes first pair of the future.
No, you'd have to split. It's kind of like Boston with McAvoy and Lindholm. You've got to put one on the first pairing and one on the second pairing.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, then, with Doughty slowing down, maybe you're looking at an Anderson with Clark combo, and then Byram with a Joel Edmondson.
Doughty.
Or Doughty.
Doughty would be a great partner for him because
Byram,
he's slow,
Doughty.
but he's defensively responsible.
You can put Joel Edmondson on the third pair and then go
with Burrow.
Byram, Doughty, Anderson, Clark.
Yeah, that could definitely work for LA. I'm definitely looking at that. I'm also looking as well in the goalie perspective because now Riddick's gone. You have Kemper and Phoenix Copley.
Oh, and just one last thing about the idea of Byram Doughty is I know Byram wants to leave to be PP1 quarterback somewhere, but if there is anybody that's gonna alpha dog Byram into place, it's probably Drew Doughty.
Oh yeah, Doughty would be a fantastic little spot there.
Yeah. Byram makes sense if they'll actually play him, and Brant Clark. I don't.
Agreed.
Dylan Coughlin back to Vegas. $775,000.
There you go.
See, I feel like Bowen Byram would have been a better piece for Carolina. Somebody like Carolina.
Yeah.
You lose Brent Burns, who was a power play quarterback, and you've got somebody to slot right in for that on your second power play line.
Absolutely. I mean, they're getting Miller, so that is something. But yeah, I do agree. Helpful.
He might fill the power play role, but I don't think Byram is the one-on-one defender that Miller is. And since Carolina plays exclusively one-on-one, I would understand why they'd prefer Keandre Miller at 5v5.
But I think that's part of the reason why New York's okay with dealing him is because they're in a spot where they need a defensive defenseman, and you're not getting just that out of Miller. You've got to play around with the offensive side, which could be what's taking away from Fox and his offensive numbers. But if you bring in a guy that's purely defensive in nature to pair with him, you get that production back from Fox, and you lock down your defense defensively.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it is official. We talked about it previously, but Dan Vladar's contract with Philly does include a limited no trade clause.
Yep, we did. Yep, there it is. Dan Vladar clause on the contract. I
have written about this somewhere, but I understand why players want the no trade clause stuff, the no movement clause stuff. Like they want security. They want to know that they can actually buy instead of rent when they sign a contract.
Yeah.
And I understand why in the past GMs have given these things out like candy. There is just way too much NTC and no movement clause stuff in this league for third and fourth liners and backup goalies. At some point, the GM that gets smart about this and just decides, hey, I'm not going to give you that clause, but here's an extra $800,000 to make up for it. I think that person will get ahead of the league and where it needs to go.
Oh, yeah. That does make sense for sure.
Are we feeling more contract grades? Well, Michael Ack might not be, but
No, the Tanner Janelle contract.
Contract grades.
Oh no.
Lessons not learned.
Lessons not learned.
Or in fact, not learned from the LA King or from the Boston Bruins.
We've already seen one team go all in on them as a long-term solution in the bottom six, so we've already seen it blow up in their faces.
Yep.
Sent a 5-pack of draft picks, including a first to Nashville, and then that one rookie year was insane, and then he's been pretty bad. He has a bit of defensive value and loves to punish his opponents, but that's only enough to stop this from being an F.
The only thing I can think of with Jeannot, and I can't think of anything for 5 years, but in bringing a guy like him in, Boston's in a spot where they've got some young guys stepping in the lineup this year and next year. Like having somebody on your third or fourth line who can be that bruising guy, kind of take care of those younger guys while they're on the ice. Like, I can see that for sure. But for 5 years, I just don't understand. I don't understand what Don Sweeney's thinking.
Yeah.
So it just, especially with how good next offseason is projected to be, like the talent that's going to be available, I just, like, if it was a 1 or a 2 year deal, I honestly have no problem with it. We've got the cap space for it. You got to fill the roster. But for 5 years, it is just unreal.
It's not a.
We say that free agency is going to be good every year, and we trick ourselves every time because we want it to be good. Mm-hmm. But this year, you had 2 quality players. One of them signed now, one will sign later, and everybody else was gone before it even happened.
Yep.
All right, I'm just gonna show that Dexter giving Data a $10 donation. Happy Canada Day! Yes, happy Canada Day to the Canadians. Data's back. Welcome back. Ian Mitchell to Detroit for league minimum by the looks of it. Thank you, Mighty Joe, our unofficial trade breaker here in the chat, or signing breaker.
Finally, Steven Yzerman has done something.
That's not a goalie. What do we think about the John Gibson move?
I love it. I absolutely love it. Let him finish his contract out in Detroit. Let the young guys step up after that. But, like, they had to address the goalie position because I honestly think that's the reason they didn't make the playoffs last year.
And from the Ducks' perspective, I think taking back Mrazek is just about the same amount of money that they would have had to spend if they bought out John Gibson. So
yeah,
it makes sense from them too. Like they're ready to turn the page, turn everything over to Dostal. Mrazek can be a backup for 1 year, and then you can buy him out. It's not much of an issue at all.
Okay, there we go.
Dolphin's back.
There we go. I hit the wrong button, and then it just kicked me right out. It's like, nope.
Nothing big with the Devils yet. No, just Jake Allen and Connor Brown.
Yeah, the Jake Allen signing. And the Connor Brown signing.
But yeah, Gibson just gives Detroit a solid goalie option as long as he can stay healthy.
Agreed, yeah.
And Cam Talbot. I think it's fairly solid for Detroit, even though they love their goalies.
Like I know Yzerman takes a lot of flack for the Yzer plan and all that.
Oh
But
yeah.
I really think this next season is the year that it pops. Like I think that they're gonna hit this season. They've got a goaltender that can win them some games, and I say that because that's the one thing they haven't had was a goalie who could steal you a game every now and then.
Absolutely.
Now they've got it.
Well, the Atlantic is going to be pretty tough this year. I mean, you've got the 2 Florida teams, right? They're not going anywhere. Toronto might be on the downswing, but you also still have Ottawa and Montreal.
They're starting going.
Now, put Detroit there in that mix of like 4 teams fighting for 3 spots, probably.
You got Montreal on the up. You got Ottawa.
You can include Buffalo because they're probably going to try and go for it again.
I'm not including Buffalo in the playoffs until I see it happen. I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, we've seen this song and dance before with Buffalo. I've seen it before. I cannot include them until they actually make the playoffs.
Listen, they could have 5 teams out of the Atlantic in the playoffs.
They really could, yeah.
Certainly realistic. We've got some more Bruins news by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Everson, AC Mont, Sean Corrali, more third liners.
Corrali's been in Boston.
Corrali has been in Boston before, yeah. Is that just that's a bunch of extra guys on there?
Yeah, I'm assuming these are all just going to be like small deals.
Yeah.
It's starting to scare me. These deals are starting to scare me though, because now, position spots for Minton, for Patra, for Lysell, like they're eating up all those spots with these 3rd and 4th line signings.
Yeah, they're starting to.
Like last year, Boston had such a bad season, but it took them to the last 20 games to decide to even bring any of those guys up.
Absolutely, yeah.
So now a season like where those guys need some actual growth and time on ice, now you're signing all these other guys and bumping them out of roster spots.
It's a weird position for them to be in, yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's tough for Boston. They're gonna have to I think they should play some of the young guys, but I guess we'll see if they're actually going to.
And the only thing I can think of is you bring in a bunch of guys like this because you're working on deals to send guys out. So because I could see them offloading Zacha because Zacha's on a really good contract for another 2 years, and I wouldn't be surprised if they ship Middlestat somewhere too. So.
All right.
So this is going to be the exact opposite of last year, right? Where every deal was announced at 3 p.m. Eastern, and we're just going to get everything done in the first 2 hours of free agency, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, this is the exact opposite stuff, yeah.
Yeah, everything gets done beforehand, and then there's a few today.
Well, that's why I think it's just everything's going to be in waves this offseason. You're going to have the initial signing phase. You're going to have a wave of trades that come through one of these days. You're going to have a wave of RFA contracts where you're trying to scalp guys off teams. Like it's just going to be a real wavy offseason.
Yeah, for sure. Which also I think that someone just came in as well. I think Red Wings signing Jacob Bernard-Docker and Ian Mitchell to some contracts.
Oh, Jacob Bernard-Docker. I'm surprised Buffalo didn't qualify him, to be honest.
I'm a little bit surprised about it as well, yeah, but yep, Bernard-Docker.
Buffalo's in a spot where they've got young guys that need ice time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and puck report here with Jacob Bernard-Docker and Ian Mitchell off to Detroit.
There you go. 1 year, $875K for Docker.
And then $775K for Ian Mitchell.
There you go. Corrali signs 2 years, 1.85, and Isamont 2 years, 1.45 with Boston.
Yeah, they're going to make some moves, or even if they're bringing in guys that they can ship off at the deadline just to accrue more trade assets.
Yeah,
Or more draft assets.
Yeah, you think maybe that's opening the door for a Zaka trade, perhaps?
I think so. I think this past season was Zaka's last in Boston. But I think that they could get a decent haul for him. So it'd be weird to see.
Definitely will be a little weird to see that all happen.
You know, a 60-point guy that can play center or wing, and his contract, it's only like $4.6 or $4.7 million contract. That's an easy contract to move, and you still have 2 years of term on it.
Yeah, it should be.
And they're going to trade Korpisalo to Edmonton, so there's that too.
Oh yeah.
Korpisalo to Edmonton.
Get themselves Stuart Skinner instead. I think at that point I'd take Korpisalo over Skinner.
Skinner's going to play behind Swayman, so he can't do any worse than Korpisalo. And Korpisalo didn't do terrible. We just had a bad year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
78 minutes in the free agency, or did the insider make that name up portion of the proceedings?
Did they make that name up?
So we've got Brock Boeser. We didn't even get to talk about Boeser much because he's like, oh, I'll just sign in Vancouver again. Like,
yeah, it's
10 seconds after it happened.
Nothing new. It's Boeser going back to Vancouver. And they don't even, the thing as well, they don't even have a bunch of contracts to deal with in the future apart from Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, they got to get Quinn Hughes done. I don't know how, but they'll have to do it at some point.
Yep.
Otherwise,
nothing.
Do not let this go to July 1st because it will be not good for them, I don't think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, speaking of contract extensions, is McDavid going to sign an extension? Or
that's another one, yeah.
Well, Detroit making another move here. It looks like Frank saying James Van Riemsdyk off to Detroit.
I
like that signing a lot.
But yeah, I can also say that, does McDavid make a contract signing? I don't think they're going to do it yet. I don't think it's going to happen today.
It could happen this summer, though, I think.
Yeah, it could be a summer signing for Connor McDavid.
If I'm McDavid, I'm sitting back, and I want to see how this team gets constructed, what they do. Because they really have, I know they don't have a ton of cap space now, but they've got to figure something out. They got to bring somebody in.
Yeah, because all they did now is they traded Arvidsson, they lost Corey Perry, and they're losing Jeff Skinner, and nothing else has changed.
They traded Kane.
And they traded Evander Kane. That's nothing in Edmonton besides those guys moving on.
Is this where Matt Savoy comes up?
He probably makes his way up now to...
But it's not enough.
Play. But is that enough? Yeah.
We've got some breaking news on Twitter.
What do we got? What breaking news?
The Florida Panthers are not running the entire band back together.
There you go.
Nate Schmidt is going to Utah.
Nate Schmidt is a Utah Mammoth. 3 years, $3.5 million for Nate Schmidt.
Get your cup and leave.
Get the bag as well while you're at it.
Get the bag while you're at it. I'm sure we'll have the Jay Fresh card up momentarily. I already looked at Utah's depth chart. Not that long ago.
But yeah, back on the McDavid point as well. You got himself, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, Draisaitl, and then Bouchard. with Ekholm, like defensive wise, you got Bouchard, Ekholm, Nurse, some of those Wallman, some of those guys. After, for forwards at least, with McDavid, Nuge, Draisaitl, Hyman, what else do you have?
I mean, Podkolzin's a really good third line play for them. I like Podkolzin a lot.
Yeah,
Savoy, you would think, is going to be their third line center next season to start off in the league.
most likely, yeah.
But I don't know. They've got to. If you can move Skinner, you open up a little bit of money, and then you try to. I don't know what they do. They gotta try to swing something. So
Yeah,
Nurse's $9 million plus contract is killing them.
absolutely. And then you've got then you're looking at like you just signed an 8-year contract to Trent Frederick.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing there.
More power to them.
But 8 years?
An 8-year contract with a full no movement clause attached to it, like I don't
Better
know.
Edmonton than Boston.
Yeah, there you go.
Edmonton than Boston.
Better Edmonton than Boston. Also, it seems like a 1-year, $1 by $2 million is Corey Perry's contract with the LA Kings.
Yeah, so if we look at Edmonton's non-roster players here, like who do they have coming up?
They don't have many guys coming up.
Like what? Robert Venti could come up and play bottom six. He's not really that good.
Yeah, Sam O'Reilly.
Sam O'Reilly's probably their best prospect here.
Like last season, the fact that they lost Holloway and Broberg, it absolutely guts them. Because those are two guys that they actually hit on in the draft that you lost for a second and third and fourth round pick. Those are guys that would have slotted in and made this team. They would have put them at least into a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals this year.
Oh yeah, but that is not what happened. And now when you look at it, okay, now we've got Draisaitl extended all the way through, but now we've got to worry about McDavid.
If he leaves, there's a lot of cap space that opens up.
If he leaves, yeah, that's 12 and a half.
A lot of cap space.
That's Connor McDavid leaving your team.
I mean, you kind of weigh your pros and cons because back in the day, like Edmonton went back and they ran the table after they traded Gretzky.
For sure.
I mean, I understand there wasn't a salary cap back then, but now, like $12.5 million is a lot of money. Yeah, you might not replace 110 plus points a season, but if you could bring in the goals, and you've got guys like Savoy steps up, Draisaitl takes, I don't want to say takes the next level because he's the second or third best player in the league.
Yeah,
but maybe having too many superstars is just too much for them. That on top of poor cap management.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see a world where Edmonton gets better if McDavid leaves.
Yeah, especially at the very beginning.
But their problem is they don't have enough to spend on goaltending. They don't have enough to spend on depth. So they're they've got, I think it was $46 million tapped up for 4 guys.
Yeah.
At some point you got to figure out how to get Nurse out of there. And at this point, I'm willing to give up a first round pick to trade him somewhere.
Exactly.
To open up $9+ million in cap space and really get some depth on this team.
Yeah, because you still got 2 more years of that contract before you even get the 10-team no trade list kicking in.
Yeah, it's a fair question. Like, you pay to get rid of Nurse or take a discounted return to open up the money and go elsewhere? Or do you just try and fill it out with cheap league?
What would a buyout look like?
What would a buyout look like
for Nurse? They've only have like one more buyout, and that's Jack Campbell.
Okay, I admittedly don't know how to find a buyout here, so let me buyout. Here we go. Yeah, so I guess we'd have to buy him out after next year. Tacked on.
That'd be $1 million basically every single year.
That sounds like a no-brainer.
And annual buyout cost $1,040,000 for
What, until
like
2035?
2035, yeah.
10 years.
That sounds like a no-brainer.
Oh, Mighty Joe, breaking news in the chat again. We're falling behind. Nick Perbix to Nashville by the looks of it.
Okay. Nick Perbix is a Nashville Predator.
All signs point to defenseman Nick Perbix going to Nashville on a 2-year deal.
2-year deal, Perbix to the Predators.
All right.
Very interesting.
I will admit I did not have Nashville on the bingo card for Perbix.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, there it is. Also, okay, what do you mean, Florida? Florida signing Jeff Petrie, league minimum. What do you mean you're still going?
Veteran cup chasing.
Veteran cup chasing Jeff Petrie.
All right, so we jump over here. So we've got Shea and Yossi, Nick Hague, which that was a big contract.
Oh, a big contract, yeah.
Blankenberg, Wilsby, and Barron.
So Perbix definitely slots in right with Hague on the second pair.
We'll slot him with Hague on the second pair. Assuming Yossi's good to go. I don't really know if there's like an update on him or not, but there's still plenty of time, so
for sure, yeah. 2x2.75 to the Predators for Perbix there.
What was it? 2x2.75?
2.75 for 2 years on Nick Perbix.
That's cheaper than I thought.
Definitely very cheap for Perbix. It's landing post there from Anthony DeMarco from Daily Faceoff.
Yep, there it is. The LA Kings with a funny tweet here. We're digging up old tweets.
Oh, yep.
Corey Perry has now joined the LA Kings.
There you go, Corey Perry on the LA Kings. But Nick Perbix now in Nashville.
Nick Perbix in Nashville. As Mighty Joe says in the chat here, goaltender Ryan Fanti off to Tampa Bay.
There you go.
We're talking about these guys because there's no big names yet.
Yep. Though I can say Puckpedia reporting on Brock Besser's extension, there was a no movement clause attached for years 1 to 4 and a 15-team no trade list on 5 to 7.
Okay, so full no move for the first 4 years, and then it drops down so they can trade him if they want / he wants.
Yeah.
I believe it was mentioned with Chicago earlier. Kyle Davidson said he's exploring depth options, but they're probably done for today.
Most likely, yeah. There's currently 4 teams now that sit over the salary cap, which are Vegas, Montreal, Florida, and St. Louis. Very interesting stuff.
Right. St. Louis being over the cap is interesting. I wonder, does that? I know.
It's like 912K over the cap, so not that
Okay,
much.
it's not much. I was
Yeah.
just saying, I know Kyrie's trade protection kicked in, but does that open up trades or? Okay, let's look at some more cards. Why not?
Oh yeah, let's take a look at some more J Fresh cards. Sean Corrali right there.
Sean Corrali signed 2 by 1.9. The Bruins is a depth center. And yeah, that's pretty much what you're going to expect.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff Petrie somehow managed to make his way over to the Panthers as well. League minimums plus some bonuses added on.
Here's Mikey Eyssimont, fourth line energy winger, 4 checks, finishes checks, and shoots the puck a ton.
There you go.
Here's JVR, veteran net front winger. Offense good, defense, yeah, that's all right. Fourth liner, it's just veteran depth. Not too much exciting.
Oh yeah.
Nate Schmidt, this is probably the biggest one so
That
far.
is a big one as well. The 87% projected wins above replacement.
Veteran utility defender who crushed it in Florida, winning his minutes comfortably on the third pairing. Superb rush defender, underrated playmaker, and conscientious. English is not my strong suit. Puck, making him the ideal utility piece. So yeah, this seems like a good signing for Utah.
Definitely a good signing for Utah, Nate Schmidt.
And then here's the Jeff Petrie card. He's a veteran two-way defender. Yeah, pretty much.
That's all there is to say about him. 1 year, $775K for Petrie.
The comments, not the same upside, but they did the same thing with Schmidt last year. Worked out well. He's going to score 10 goals in the playoffs next year, won't he? He's going to get his free cup.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Apparently the Perbix card is up.
Yep, there's
all right. Big defenseman who did underratedly strong work with the puck in a depth role for Tampa.
interesting.
Yeah, so he's a solid like bottom 4 defenseman.
There you go, yeah. So hopeful stuff there for Nashville. Still have $9 million in cap space, but most of that is going to be going to signing Luke Evangelista.
Yes.
Okay, hold on a minute now. Cody Ceci, 4 years, $4.5 million with the LA Kings.
How does he keep getting away with this?
I don't know how he keeps getting away with this. Brian Dumoulin, 3 years at $4 million with the Kings, and Anton Forsberg at 2 years, $2.25. So 3 signings to the LA Kings.
Okay.
3 signings to the Kings, as reported by NHL News, Puck Report. Landon put it in the trade breakers. Cody Ceci, Brian Dumoulin, Anton Forsberg, all going to the LA Kings.
Well, Anton Forsberg, good luck in LA. Thanks for your backup service with Ottawa. It's now Maryland time.
There you go.
So that's their backup goalie solved. We talked about that earlier.
Oh yeah.
There's your backup goalie.
There's your backup goalie. I mean, with Ceci now signing in, there's your chance for not having Bowen Byram.
There goes Bowen Byram. I don't know how.
With actually both Ceci and Dumoulin signing on. So, with both of them now being added into the defense, what does that do for defense at all for the Kings? Because now you've got Anderson, Doughty, Edmondson, Clark, and then Cody Ceci, Dumoulin.
I assume it's Dumoulin, Ceci,
Dumoulin, Ceci, good pair.
For those 7th defensemen.
And then you've got Forsberg coming in as backup goaltender.
Forsberg will take Copley's spot as the backup goalie.
Yeah, there you go. My goodness.
Kings making a flurry of moves, and
Here's all at once.
I don't I don't quite know how to feel about them.
Yeah, there's the J Fresh Cody Ceci card, a veteran defenseman who is very good at getting coaches to play him in important minutes, and not very good at several other things.
That, yeah, this one's rough. I don't.
That is a rough one for the Kings. I'm not sure.
Sorry, LA. I don't like it. Like, why are we signing Cody Ceci for 4 years at 4.5?
Yeah, that I don't know why Ceci is able to make that much. Which that clears up now a lot of money. That puts a lot of money off the table for the Kings. With Cody
That'll clear up. That'll use up their money quickly.
They had $15 million left in cap space. That is dropping rather quick.
Seeing here, Michael, I didn't realize he had to dip out, but
yeah, Mike had to dip out.
Thank you for joining. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, it's been.
Hello, Real Deal Prime. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, Brian Dumoulin, 3 years, $4 million with the LA Kings.
What are we doing?
I don't know what the Kings are doing right now with Cody Ceci. Like, look at that player card on Cody.
This is an ugly microstats page.
Ugly microstats page for Cody Ceci. But hey, congratulations to Dallas for getting rid of that.
Congratulations to Dallas for getting rid of it.
There you go. Now, if only they could get rid of Matt Dumba.
Yeah. All right, so here we are back over on Puckpedia now. We've got the Kings are now down to just under 8.5 in projected cap space.
Just under $8.5 million in projected cap space with the CC contract in there, with the Forsberg contract. It's not even with the Dumoulin contract added in.
Not with the Dumoulin contract yet? Okay. Yeah, the depth chart has not been updated yet.
So it's just with the CC and the the Forsberg contract. So Dumoulin's contract, that'll drop him to 4 million, 4.4 million in cap space. So 4.4 million, and that is to sign Laferriere.
They need to get him signed.
Yeah, so if Laferriere is taking 4 million, that's them done.
That's it for LA. All right, we've got the Brian Dumoulin card up here.
There you go.
I mean, it seems fine, but again, why are we giving 34-year-olds 3-year deals?
Yeah, why is this what we are putting here for
$4 million?
We got 31-year-old Cody Ceci at 4.5 million, and Brian Dumoulin making that. There we go. Now the Dumoulin contract has been added in the 4 million, so that puts them at 4.443 million left in cap space. Let's see if the depth chart has been updated. It has not. It looks like they're just starting to change that now. But that's your entire third pair sorted.
How does Cody Ceci get almost double Nick Herbig's?
How does Cody Ceci get more money than Dumoulin in the same deal, the same team?
Cody Ceci continues to be the most confounding player in the NHL.
The strangest player in the entirety of the NHL, Cody Ceci.
That's
my goodness.
I don't know. Here we go for Dom over here. We've got Cody Ceci was once better than his underlying numbers gave him credit for, given the difficulty of minutes, but at his age, those days are likely over.
Absolutely.
LA does have a strong defensive system, so it's possible this can work out all right. But
maybe it can.
Giving him $4.5 million, and his market value is at $1 million.
Oh boy.
Yikes.
Yikes indeed. So yeah, so Corey Perry and Joel Armia, they put themselves fourth line, left and right wing respectively. And then you've got your third pair dealt with.
Top comparison, Travis Hamonic. Oh god.
Oh boy. There's Dumoulin's player card. We saw that already. Oh.
CC is rich. Yes, data. Cody CC is rich.
Cody CC is rich. Radek Faksa signing back with the Dallas Stars as well. 3 years, $2 million.
Panthers Kings final confirmed. Yep, pretty much.
Yep.
Corey Perry to lose in the finals.
Yep, we're already rejecting that. We don't need to worry about anything else. Don't need to worry about watching the season. That's what we know now.
Add to the issue is the addition of Brian Dumoulin. Yeah, okay, so it's...
Yeah. Oh, hold on a minute. We were talking about Drouin a little bit ago. 2 years with the Islanders.
2 years with the Islanders.
Jonathan Drouin is a New York Islander. A Data 72 Hall of Famer. Going to Long Island.
As someone who kind of wanted Drew in Ottawa, I don't like this.
I mean, there you go. Jonathan Drouin.
So the Islanders miss out on Brock Boeser and pivot to Jonathan Drouin.
2 years at $4 million for Jonathan Drouin.
Seems like a very fair contract.
Very fair contract indeed, especially with what he was making last year. Oh, yeah, there you go.
$2 years at $4 million is a really good deal for the Islanders.
Absolutely. And they had the money to work with it.
And yet Radek Faksa back to Dallas.
Radek Faksa back over to Dallas there. There you go. Jonathan Drouin.
That's a great bet for the Islanders. Because with that 2 year time frame, like if they do go fully in the tank and start a rebuild or continue one based on this past draft, look them at the deadline. You'll probably get a pretty decent return.
You might as well, yeah. You got to think as well, though, with the fact that they now signed Drouin for the $4 million, puts him down to like, I don't know, $7 million, something like that. They've got to sign Holmstrom, Heineman, Suklikov. All three of them still need contracts. They're all RFAs. I wonder if any of them will be doing anything.
This also just tells you how squeezed the Avalanche are, right? That they couldn't match that kind of a deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Colorado definitely could have matched this.
For sure, yeah.
Like we talked about it.
They have like $7 million in space.
They have $7 million in space.
But only 17 players signed, so they still need to sign like 5 or 6 more people.
Yeah.
Good point.
There's the Radek Faksa card back up, 3 years, $2 million. A fourth line shutdown center who doesn't do much with the puck. Very, very card all around, but again, you're there for the shutdown defense, the 92% even strength defense play. That's what you're there for. And that is what Dallas is keeping.
Yeah, Radek Faksa to back to Dallas.
How is Florida still going? Jack Studnicka.
I just saw that one too.
To the Florida Panthers. How are they still going?
Here we go. I know the Faksa card is up, but that's fine.
Yeah, there's the Jonathan.
Here's the Jonathan Drouin card.
There it is.
Middle six playmaking winger who found a niche in Colorado by not actually doing that much stuff, but chipping in the odd facilitating pass.
There you go. Jonathan Drouin. Well, I mean, now we know what we got to do. Data, you gotta get Jonathan Drouin on your Islanders team.
Here we go. Here he is.
Hey, you guys hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Good.
Hey, well, let me first say a huge thank you from myself and everyone who's been listening throughout the day, to the co-hosts who have been holding down the fort for me. If you may or may not already know, I'm not sure how much you guys said on the chat already, but currently packing up my fiance to bring her up for our wedding in a few weeks. So I've been away from the channel from the draft coverage and the free agency coverage. So Hobbsy came in. I gave him my login information. So that's why it's Hobbsy, but with his logo, with my logo over his name. I found a picture of Data in a book that I took recently, so I made that my logo right now if you're watching on the stream. And I'm going to have the audio going while I continue to pack here at the apartment. But I just wanted to hop in and say hello and thank you for the work that you've been doing. Jonathan Drouin, love that contract. I love it for the Islanders as well. A Data 782 Hall of Famer joining the current Data franchise that we're running with in NHL 25. Wonderful day as a Canadiens fan as well. That GIF, what a wonderful day. That's exactly what it is. Love the Mailloux trade for Boeser. Very fitting with me being in Missouri. And Sammy Blais signing as well, former Blue there too. Sad to see Christian Dvorak go, but for that kind of money, it makes sense. It sounds like the Flyers are throwing around money. Cody Ceci is moving into the next tax bracket. Yeah, anything else? Brock Boeser, of course, some of the big things of the day. Brock Boeser staying in Vancouver. Gavrikov getting big money. So sad to see guys like Armia and Pizzetta and all that move on as a Canadiens fan, but they are most certainly making a step forward with Dobson and Boeser, not just for this next season, but I think the next few seasons as well, and allowing the younger guys, like let's say the Owen Becks of the world, to now be getting some ice time and whatnot. So, yeah, aside from that, what are some of the major storylines here today?
Michael Pizzetta. We've been joking about
We've
Michael
been
Pizzetta.
talking about Michael Pizzetta.
Yeah. I like Pizzetta a lot. My dad and I often joke a lot about Pizzetta because if it wasn't for the pandemic and the taxi squads and all that, no one would have ever heard this guy's name. So as much as he's league minimum and now we lose him, it's too bad and all that. But hey, good for this guy who would have been like a career ECHLer. He's carved himself out a little 13th forward spot in the NHL. He's signed on, at least that's guaranteed money for 2 more years of his life. Hey, all the power to him. But yeah, is that all that Toronto needed? I don't know.
Not exactly, but you know.
Yeah.
Talked about Drouin fitting a bunch of different teams, except the Islanders, and then they come out of nowhere and be like, "Hey, look, here's $8 million. We got Drouin."
There you
go. The big themes for me so far have been that this was a pretty shallow free agency class, and it's over very quickly.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nikolai Ehlers is still out there, probably the belle of the ball at the start of the day, a little in the end. But the other is that the GMs have all been kind of restrained. We sort of expected somebody to shoot themselves in the foot today with the CBA going up as much as it has, and all these guys being available. I haven't seen a contract that just blows your socks off with like, oh my gosh, it's so terrible. The worst example is like what you paid Ivan Provorov $1.5 million more than he's supposed to get. Like that's not.
That's the Columbus tax.
Yeah.
Well, Michael Ack would argue that the Tanner Jeannot contract is absolutely awful.
Yeah, I did see that. It's funny how Tanner Jeannot has now been at the center, and of course we have to see how it plays out with the Bruins because I think he's a good fit. It's a very large price tag. How will he play out as like the definition of an overpay for a trade a couple of years ago, and now he's going to be the definition of an overpay of a free agency contract potentially this year. So we'll see how that works out for him in Boston.
For sure. Also, just the fact that like Florida continuously doing all of these different things today.
Yeah, Florida, they're set for until 2030 with these guys.
Clearly.
Yeah. So I'll leave you to it, gentlemen. Feel free to wrap it up whenever you feel like it's been over 3 hours. So if there's more to talk about, keep going. Do 8 hours if you'd like. But again, a big thank you to everyone who has joined into the stream today. I'm not sure if it's just been you three plus Michael Ack or anyone else guest starred, but I'll listen back to it in due time, and I'll continue to listen as well as I pack up this apartment. So if you need to call me out for anything emergency, I can come run to the chat very quickly. But I will bow out of the StreamYard for now, and we'll be back with content on the channel. If you're watching as just a viewer of the channel, wondering what's up next and all that, we'll be back probably within the next 4 or 5 days. And then we'll have a normal schedule for about 3 weeks until I get married and go on my honeymoon and all that. And then we'll be back somewhere in August. But I'm glad that of all the off seasons to miss, it was a 4-hour Zoom draft and a shallow free agent pool. So at least there's that.
Oh yeah.
Dana, do you just like put the boxes on the transporter? Like, how does that work?
You're thinking for what I'm doing right now?
Yeah. I mean, you just put it on the pad and then beam it straight to Canada?
Oh, yeah. I wish. International moves are no joke. But, it's just we're packing things up. We have to make inventories of it all. But really, it would be very, very nice to have the transporter on the pad. I wish. That's just another part of my Star Trek pipe dream.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'll bow out for now. Thanks, everybody. Keep it up, and I'll be listening from my end over here.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
All right.
Alrighty, boys.
All right.
What are we thinking?
Well, first, what were our thoughts on Drew and the Islanders? I think it's a very solid deal for the Islanders.
Oh yeah, absolutely it is. Quite a good deal.
Should be updated now.
Yeah, it definitely should be updated. Take a look. Yep, the money is definitely going down. So there's the $4 million on Jonathan Drouin. Join the rest of the folks in Long Island.
Drouin is off to the island.
And it's looking like, you just pulled it up there. He's looking like a second line left wing. That's your Anthony Duclair replacement in the top 6.
Looking like he might have to flip his jersey number around, though.
He might have to, because there is an Anders Lee with that.
But yeah, I like it for the Islanders. I think it's a solid.
Fun little add-on for.
It'll be good in the middle 6, flip-flop with Duchesne, Holmstrom, whoever.
Mm-hmm. Especially with all the players that they do have with that. Yeah, absolutely. It'll be helpful for them. Getting Heineman in there at some point as well. Probably replacing Pierre Engvall.
Good old Pierre Engvall.
Good old Pierre Engvall. Heineman probably comes in there. He slots in 4th line, maybe 3rd line minutes. Get something for him.
Yeah, so I just saw that James Myrtle tweeted out that he doesn't expect the Leafs to do much more today.
Yeah. Which does make sense and all that. The Leafs have like $5 million in cap space, so unless they're worrying about signing the rest of their guys, I don't think they're going to be doing all that much. So at this point, they're worried about more like, are they going to be bringing back Nick Robertson? Is Pontus Holmberg going to come back? That's kind of all they're doing at this point.
Yeah, I don't know how much more they'll be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Drouin and Barzal could be a really good duo if Drouin could stay healthy. Yeah, I think so. Like they could be quite solid. Like I think he'll fit in fine. He can be probably a 50-point guy or so. And
oh yeah, he can definitely get some good work done for him. Work very well with the Islanders grouping, especially if he gets up there and like potentially get some minutes with Horvat or with Barzal or something along those lines. Yeah, you could see something.
I do like the idea of spreading that out though, and having Drouin pair with like a Palmieri or a Pajot, who are both pretty good shooters.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that also works too.
And even then, like Islanders still have $7 million left in cap space. They could very well not be done yet. If they aren't going to sign Cyprikov and Heineman for some reason, or Holmstrom, which might take up the rest of that money, they could go after somebody else.
For sure. I think they'll probably make another. Well, I'm sure they'll make another signing or two. I don't know how like impactful it'll be, but
yeah, they might not be as impactful as others. Yeah, there's the micro. Grab all that.
I'm still baffled by the Kings. I don't know what they're doing.
don't know what the Kings are doing either. It's just like, why are you signing Cody Ceci? Why are you signing Dumoulin for that much money?
Like, looking at it here, it's an $8.5 million bottom pairing.
Yeah, that's your bottom pair. That's not even your second or your first pairing. That's your bottom pairing. Cody Ceci is your second highest paid defenseman behind Drew Doughty. Like, what are we doing?
It's rough over there. I don't know what they're doing, but and you have Kyle Burroughs as their seventh defenseman making just over $1 million, which isn't that bad, but I feel like he could probably do just as well as Dumoulin or CC.
Absolutely. You could definitely put him up there, and that's your third pairing guy, and he definitely works. So I'm not sure why you've got to have Dumoulin and CC making that amount of money to play on your third pair.
I have no idea. Looks like we have the Corey Perry signing here too. It's
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years on that as well. Like a 4-year deal for CC, a 3-year deal for Dumoulin. Corey Perry's on for a year. Like,
yeah,
what are we doing here?
We jump back over to here. Brant Clark's an RFA next year.
Yeah, you got to worry about signing him.
Burroughs will be gone or re-signed for cheap. Yeah, they're all signed up. You'll clear up cap space the year after with Doughty being a free agent, probably taking a pay cut.
At that point,
like I understand wanting to shore up your defense because the Edmonton Oilers keep bouncing you in round one. But do you think Cody Ceci and Brian Dumoulin are what's going to stop the bleeding against McDavid and Draisaitl? Like, come on, man, what are we doing here?
What are we doing with just adding that in as your guys? And especially, like we're looking as well. They've got Kopitar coming up, Kempe, Kuzmenko, Samuel Hellenius needs a contract afterwards, Burroughs afterwards, Brant Clark. There's names that you've got to sign literally next year. So why are we tying up Cody Ceci and Brian Dumoulin for that much money for that many years?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Like, are we expecting Kopitar to take a massive pay cut? Are we expecting Kempe to take a pay cut? Kempe's not going to take a pay cut.
Kempe's not taking a pay cut.
And Kopitar's going to be 38. Will. Yeah, I mean, he probably will, but, like, how much longer are you going to be able to ride Anze Kopitar's coattails?
Exactly. Like, with him, you got to eventually have Quentin Byfield start doing something.
All right, I'm seeing on my TV here currently, it looks like as of right now for free agency, there's been 47 signings for a total of $274.6 million.
My goodness.
And
I remember Cap Friendly used to publish that number at the end of the first day every year.
Oh, yeah.
Washington will never forgive you.
We will forgive you for that, Washington. Nick Perbix, there's the Nick Perbix thing from that.
Perbix is official. Brandon Tanev is official.
That's all there. My word.
So speaking of the end of the day, is it time to transition and look at like who's still left and think about signing off?
Yeah, I think we might as well transition over to that. Let's look at
let's transition to the big board and then we'll start to wrap it up here.
Yeah, we'll head over to the big board. We'll see who's left over. We'll make some predictions on where they might sign, and then we will call it a stream.
Going for what, almost 3.5 hours here?
Almost 3.5 hours of streaming for Free Agent Frenzy. Thank you everybody for sticking around. Thank you everybody for watching the stream. Don't sign off just yet. We're gonna do just a quick little wrap up, make some predictions, and then we will call it a stream. So be sure to stick around for that. And if you enjoy what we're doing here, well,
subscribe to Data.
Yeah, subscribe, join the Discord. You got the opportunity to do stuff like this if you become a channel member. All the fun things.
Well, when we review this list, you can take Cole Kopke off of it because he's going to the Jet.
Cole Kopke is a New York Jet.
A New York Jet. He's switching sports.
New York Jet. That's what happens when my brain doesn't decide to work today. A Winnipeg Jet. I'm switching sports.
Switching sports. Cole Kopke, noted multi-sport athlete.
All right. Let's
Well, speaking of the Jets,
the
start with
Jets,
Ehlers.
the right Jets, not the other ones. Nikolai Ehlers. Gentlemen, where are we thinking?
Carolina still makes a ton of sense.
Carolina does make sense for sure, yeah. But if they're going after Byram, I'm not all too sure.
Well, it sounds like they're going to get Keandre Miller done at some point.
Yeah.
But even then, I still think they need something up front. I think Ehlers makes a lot of sense.
Ehlers does.
I'm going to throw Seattle out here as a wild card for Ehlers.
Okay, I like it.
Wow, how come? Why so?
Well, they still have a good amount of cap space with like over $13 million. They've got a good portion of their roster filled out, although not as much as I initially thought. They still have to sign Capo Caco and maybe Riker Evans. But okay, so you can still throw $10 million at Ehlers probably. Jaden Schwartz might be your captain, but he's 33. Jordan Everly is 35. Like, there's a spot for a winger in the top 6 here.
Absolutely.
And he'd stay on the West Coast, still be close by to Winnipeg in a sense, same division or whatever. But no, different division. Sorry. But yeah, I still out west. We'll put it that way. So I can see Seattle making a run at it.
Yeah. I'm thinking right now, just based off of teams who haven't done a whole lot and might be thinking about stuff, I think maybe there's a chance we see Minnesota go after him and sign Ehlers. They still got a whole lot of money left over, about $13 million left in cap space. If they're not keeping Marco Rossi, they don't have to worry about that. And afterwards, it's like Gustav Nyquist and Justin Brazeau. I think they can make a run for Ehlers at that point. Help him out, kind of get another guy to work with Kaprizov and Boldy and Eric Sinek and those guys.
They missed out on Brock Boeser coming home, so...
Yeah, they missed out on that. Yeah, they get Vladimir Tarasenko. They have Matt Zuccarello. But, yeah, you could see somebody like Ehlers maybe making their way over to stay in the West and go to Minnesota.
I could see it. The Empty Numbers pod announced or speculated about half an hour ago that they're now take this with a grain of salt. I don't know their sources. They're hearing that Tampa is making a push for Ehlers. I don't know how they're going to do that.
I don't know how they're doing that either. They have no money and no space.
But they have Isaac Howard, so
they do have Isaac Howard, but again, it's the money wise. Then that's is the thing.
They use Howard to dump a contract, but I'm not entirely sure how it would work.
Yeah, unless you're dumping like a Bjorkstrand contract or something like that. I'm not sure how that's going to work for you.
I'd like to see Ottawa make a run at him too, but I don't think they have the money for him.
Yeah, it's like $7 million, something like that for Ottawa, and
they're at about $7 million.
Those guys to sign, I don't know.
I don't think it's likely.
Yeah, they still
I'm gonna lock in Carolina as my official prediction.
Carolina's your prediction? I'm saying Minnesota, and then Dice, you're saying Seattle?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Boeser off the board. Gavrikov off the board. Mikael Granlund.
Granlund is up next. See, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it right there. That is my prediction for who Carolina gets. I'm saying they get Granlund.
Granlund to Carolina. I could see that too. He makes a lot of sense there.
That's your second line center right there. That puts Kotkaniemi down to third line. You can get a good center to play with guys like Svechnikov or Jarvis or Taylor Hall or somebody like that. Yeah, I think Granlund goes to the Carolina Hurricanes.
I agree. I think it's a good fit.
I do agree that it is a good fit. I'm going to not predict Carolina because I just did that for Ehlers.
Okay.
I don't know who I predict, though. I know Dallas wants him back, but they don't have the money for him.
They don't got money to do so. They're over the cap now.
They're over the cap.
What about Edmonton?
Edmonton, I could see Edmonton, but I think they'd need to free up a little bit more money.
I think they have, what, 4.5 left?
4.5, unless they can convince Granlund to be like, hey, take the same deal as Bruin because we're a winning team. We've been to back-to-back cup finals.
Yeah. That's it. Take a discount to chase a cup.
Yeah, could be. I could see it. Yeah. Okay, so Edmonton and Carolina.
Edmonton, Carolina.
Are
I need to go in the chat. I can see the Ducks in on Ehlers.
Yeah, Ducks in on Ehlers. I mean, the Ducks were in on Marner until Vegas got him, so I could see them pivoting to Ehlers too.
And Tanner Pearson signed in Winnipeg, 1 year, $1 million.
Aberzizi's gone to Tampa.
Aberzizi to Tampa. Oh, well, no Ehlers there.
There you go. So,
Pius Suter. I don't.
The Pius Suter.
I don't know. I feel like he's going to get a contract that is more than I'd want to pay him.
Yeah, I think he's going to get something.
I could see, I don't know, Anaheim, maybe back to Chicago.
Yeah, I'm thinking Anaheim as well. That's where my pick is going for Pius Suter. Might need a little bit more center help with your big guys now at center being Leo Carlson, Gauthier. Could use somebody like a Pius Suter to kind of stabilize it.
One more thing on Granlund. Would he consider going back to the Sharks?
Granlund the Sharks, that could be an interesting one.
They have a pile of money, and he seemed to do fairly well until they traded him to Dallas.
Absolutely, he was the leading scorer in San Jose. You could immediately slot in, but then if you think about it, where does he play? Because he can't play center. You got Celebrini, you got Smith, right there at center.
If he makes it.
Who knows?
Yeah, I think Pius Suter to Anaheim.
Suter to Anaheim? Yeah, that's what I'm also.
That's where I would go.
With that. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe Minnesota, but he's below 6 feet, so that doesn't solve Guerin's problem.
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah.
Below 6 feet.
Dmitry Orlov, big defenseman.
Yeah, he wasn't that great in the playoffs.
Didn't play the greatest there.
Probably could see him just going to like a contending team, just sign a cheaper deal and try and cup chase.
Yeah.
Does he go back to Washington? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
Or he goes to like Chicago or some rebuilder, and they just give him the bag again.
Yeah, he could do something like that.
He might be my pick for the Sharks.
Okay,
I could see it.
I definitely can see that as well for Orlov.
Because they have a ton of money. Like, what do they care? They only have 5 defensemen signed currently. Got Mario Ferraro and Timothy Liljegren also on that side. I don't think that Orlov would be redundant compared to those players. So I think there's a need there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say that he maybe goes to Ottawa, possibly.
Ooh, interesting. I
go there.
I don't think so.
Okay.
He's a left defenseman where they already have Sanderson, Shabbat, Clevin.
Left defenseman. I forgot about that. I thought it was right D. Yeah, that makes more sense now.
So I don't see it. I'd be shocked if it happened.
Yeah.
Or I can go ahead and curse myself and say that he's going to be a Penguin since their left side stinks.
It could be in Pittsburgh.
Could be in Pittsburgh.
I mean, listen, is he better than Ryan Shea? Probably.
I would hope so.
Who knows?
But we need this next guy going to Pittsburgh.
Brent Burns. That's a Pittsburgh Penguin right there.
We already have Erik Karlsson
together again.
There you go. We got Carlson and Burns together. Yeah, let's go. That's my pick. Penguins is getting Brent Burns.
What if the Penguins just load up on a bunch of old guys?
It's the retirement home team.
Can I pick the Charlotte Checkers here? Like, is that an option?
Oh boy.
I mean,
There you go, Brent Burns.
I wonder if Burns is already 40. I don't know how much more he has left.
Yeah.
I think he said he got one more year left in him.
If this is his final year, does he sign on cheap to go Cup chase, or does he go back to San Jose and
I was
just
say, does he go back
ride
to
it out?
train up the new guys, especially with Mark-Edward Vlasic being bought out? Maybe.
Let's see Vlasic and Burns sign in the same place and play him on a pair again.
Oh yeah.
If he wants
Or
to sign
back-
on Cup Chase, like Edmonton probably needs some right-handed D past Bouchard.
You could, yeah.
Burns to Edmonton would be interesting.
Burns to Edmonton, especially if he takes like a little bit of a pay cut, yeah, for sure.
Third pair, second power play.
I could see that actually. I can see Burns going to Edmonton. That'd be a fun one.
We're then signed Jack Roslovic.
Jack Roslovic. Now, I thought he probably would have stuck around in Carolina, considering they need a good center, but I guess that's not going to be the case.
Now, you mentioned Ottawa for Orlov. I could see Ottawa for Roslovic.
That, yeah, I could also see that too, because they do need something like that.
Need like a middle six guy because they brought back Giroux
Yeah.
and Letterland signed, but I feel like they still need one more piece in like the middle six.
Yeah.
Braun lost a step last year, so ideally he plays like fourth line.
Yeah, because then you got Stutzler, Cousins, Pinto, Roslovic as your four centers.
In that case, they'd probably try and play Roslovic on the wing.
Yeah, I guess that's probably then. Even then, like, where do you put Zetterlund on the fourth line then?
No, I think you put Perron on the fourth line.
Okay.
Then you'd have to.
Then you mess
I
around.
guess Nick Cousins can take faceoffs. Maybe he's the 4C, and then
Yeah, Roslovic with
Amadio down there.
So I'm gonna go with Minnesota.
okay.
Is he
Since
taller
we-
than 6 feet?
He is. He's 6'1". So
He is
All right.
6'1". There we
check
go.
that box. But also, I think Roslovic, like, I know he's a plus skater, so like if you were to put him between Kaprizov and Zuccarello, he would probably do really well. Or just pair him with Boldy. Like, I think that he would be a good middle six, top six center option for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see Minnesota. I think.
I do that as well. Yeah. I'm gonna keep with the Hobbsy's pick of Ottawa for Roslovic on this one.
All right, Mangiapane.
And Giappani. Well, I mean, he was linked to Toronto. I don't think he's going to be linked there anymore, considering Michael Pezzetta.
Nico Pizzetta. Maybe Pittsburgh.
I was
Maybe.
going to say that.
Does he go from Washington to Pittsburgh?
It would be funny, and also he's the sort of flippable piece that you would want on a rebuilding team like this, so like it makes a lot of sense.
That's true. Yeah, you would want something like that, and also Pittsburgh does kind of need the help.
That's what I was thinking. If you give him 1 year, like I don't know,
Put him right beside
4
Crosby.
mil.
Put him
$4.5.
right beside Crosby.
Put him
I mean,
beside
yeah.
Crosby for half the season. Retain 50%. Flip him at the deadline.
And there you go.
Profit.
Profit.
That's a
I'll
profit.
do this way.
The Kyle Dubas, because Kyle Dubas loves his guys.
I mean, you've got to figure that he's better than Danton Heinen, Blake Lizotte, and Rucker McGroarty in his current form.
Yeah, so you could definitely put top line of Crosby, Mangiapane, Rust, and then
Yeah.
Malkin, McGroarty, Raquel.
Although hopefully one of Rust and Raquel is gone, so that's even more room.
Yeah.
Do you have any landing spots for either of those two?
I think Tampa would be an interesting one, and then I think everyone always links Rust to Detroit because of the Michigan connection.
Okay.
Okay, makes
See,
sense.
I'm going to be bold and not even biased with this one. I think Raquel might be a Leaf.
That would be very interesting. I thought maybe one of them might end up in Buffalo as well.
Yeah, because especially
I can
now
see that
with
as
Raquel,
long as
like,
they don't have trade protection.
you kind of need that. I think Toronto could pounce on that, and there's your guy to stick with Matthews in Raquel, or even Rust. Either one of those two, I think, could be good for the Leafs.
I can see
Yeah,
it.
they know how to play with superstars.
Oh yeah,
Matt Grzelcyk.
Matt Grzelcyk, AHL. I'm kidding.
Also,
For
why
real.
is Grzelcyk number 13 on this board?
Why is Matt Grzelcyk?
His class is not very good.
It's not a big class at all.
He was on the top power play unit last year.
And that was good for what? The 11th overall pick.
Oh yeah,
Oof.
and then 12th, which they traded.
Oh, let's not go there. I'm having a good day so far.
Oh yeah, see that is where I'm gonna throw Buffalo in there. That's where I think Grzelcyk's going.
Grzelcyk back to Buffalo?
Yeah.
Was he with Buffalo?
He was with Boston for a long time.
I thought he played with Buffalo a little bit too. I gotta look this up because it's gonna bother me if I don't. But I know he was with Boston for a while. Maybe it was just Boston to Pittsburgh.
Was Boston to Pittsburgh, or oh yeah, it was Boston to Pittsburgh. Never mind.
It was Boston to Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah, just Boston to Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I could see him going to Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo makes sense, especially if they trade Bowen Byram, which
Yeah.
they're probably going to trade Bowen Byram.
And they need a defense. Then they need a left defenseman, and there you go.
Funny, the trade angle is exactly why I'm gonna say Matt Grzelcyk to Calgary.
Okay, interesting.
If they trade Rasmus Anderson, there's a need for another person on the blue line. Just play Mackenzie Weegar wherever you need to fill in and make the handedness work. It's fine.
Yeah, he can play both.
That makes sense.
You might as well.
Cody Ceci, I don't even
Cody
want to talk about that contract.
He's been signed, so we can skip it.
Yeah, Jake Fresh finally put up the Corey Perry player card. A veteran net front winger pisses people off, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep. Victor Olofsson. Okay.
I can see Ottawa for Olofsson too.
Olofsson to Ottawa? I could see it. I could see Olofsson maybe him going to the Sharks.
The Sharks. I could see the Islanders, even though they got Drouin.
Yep.
This is another Penguin that they flip at the deadline.
It could be another Penguin they flip at the
deadline. Victor Olofsson.
Edmonton.
Yeah, maybe in Edmonton.
Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe in Edmonton. Staying in the same conference. In the same.
There's some options here.
I mean, he needs a spot on the power play to be worth anything, right? Because that shot is his calling card.
Oh,
yeah. He's going to need to sign somewhere that will give him power play.
That is what you do with him.
That shot is lethal.
Yeah, I could see Olofsson going to Edmonton.
Well, his game can leave something to be desired on the defensive side of the puck. That sounds like half of Edmonton's team already. So.
He's already half of Edmonton's team, so I think it's even a better of a match. Yeah.
Evgeny Dadonov.
If the Leafs can get him for cheap, is it worth it?
I could see that if it's cheap.
It's
probably.
Cheap. Evgeny Dadonov. I think he just goes right back to Montreal. I'm kidding.
I don't know.
I'm sure he has fond memories of Vegas.
I'm sure he's got fond memories of Vegas.
I bet it won't be Anaheim.
No, it probably won't be. Dadonov, maybe he's a Mammoth. Maybe he goes to Utah.
Or he could just simply go back to Russia.
Or he could just go right back to Russia and he doesn't have to worry about signing with any team.
I don't know. Dadonov's interesting because he's like, 36, but he's still He still had 40 points last year and scored 20 goals.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess San Jose.
Okay.
San Jose, I could
Yeah, that makes
do
sense.
San Jose. Chicago, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put him with Bedard.
The same like logic there, right? Like put him with a bunch of young players.
And just see what he does. Yeah.
Hope he scores a bunch and flip him at the deadline.
Absolutely.
Gus Nyquist,
Just,
the same thing.
yeah, basically the exact same thing, but I think he
Yeah.
honestly might just stay in Minnesota.
That seems most likely.
I can see that too.
Moving is hard, y'all.
Oh yeah, it's very
Yeah, moving is not fun.
moving is difficult. Just ask Data.
Nate Schmidt, Corey Perry, Mason Appleton's interesting.
Mason Appleton. I could see him just staying in Winnipeg at this point. They've still got a lot of money left over, and like Velarde is the only one they need to sign.
Yeah, I feel like he'll stay in Winnipeg.
Yeah, he's been good there. He can just keep on helping out the team at that point. Yeah, I think Appleton just stays in Winnipeg.
Just to pick a different team, Mason Appleton, you're a Duck.
Okay.
Duck.
When in doubt, just go to Anaheim or San Jose.
When in doubt, pick the Ducks. Anthony Beauvillier.
Anthony Beauvillier, you are an Anaheim Duck. I got nothing.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh.
Possibly.
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst idea they ever had.
Again from Washington to Pittsburgh, who knows?
6 teams in the past 3 years. Actually, just go somewhere different. Sign with like the Sharks, then just get flipped at the deadline, and then next season do it again and go chase the record for most NHL teams played.
Yeah, we'll have the traveling Beauvilliers instead of the traveling Yockers.
Oh yeah.
The traveling. I don't think Beauvillier will have the same fan reception as the traveling Yockers.
Probably not now.
We'll finish off with Taylor Radish here to round out the top 25.
Yeah, top 25 there. Taylor Radish.
I could just see him staying in Washington.
I think he just stays in Washington as well. It's a little boring, but I think he just stays there.
Does Boston have any more money?
No, they don't have any money. They spent it all on Tanner Jeannot.
According
I'm
to
just saying, like, Taylor Radish is like Tanner Jeannot.
Yeah,
they've got $1.2 million available.
They got $1 million in cap space. They are not signing them. I think he just stays in Washington. And
maybe Colorado.
Maybe that's your doing.
Like, $7 million now, so
yeah, especially if now like Colorado has $7 million. Yeah, you said that to sign like Jimmy Vesey.
Yeah,
I like that Colorado pick. That's a pretty good guess.
That's a pretty good pick for Radish.
All right, so I think that just about does it.
Oh, actually, do it there. Actually,
Jeff Skinner.
Yeah, there's Jeff Skinner.
Stay in Edmonton? Probably not.
No, probably doesn't stay in Edmonton. I think that Jeff Skinner. You know what, Jeff Skinner? Welcome back to Buffalo.
Welcome back to Buffalo. He feels like it'd be another. He's either going to sign super cheap for a cup, or he's going to get like $3-4 million and sign him like the Sharks or the Hawks or what have you.
Hobbsy, would you be upset if Jeff Skinner was a Senator?
I wouldn't, but like I wouldn't want to pay him more than like 2.5 at the very most.
Yeah, because again, that's another thing with Skinner. Again, it's a position of where you slot him in, unless you're again moving Perron down again.
That was my thought process. Yeah,
Perron's lost a step. Like so, him on the fourth line isn't that bad. Like you can move him up if you need to.
Oh yeah,
but like they need more help scoring 5-on-5.
Absolutely. So yeah, Skinner could help them with that.
Skinner could help them with that. He's not going to be like if you put him. Maybe you put him third line with Greg and Pinto, because then those two are relatively good defensively, so then it'll hide Skinner's faults a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
Does mean Giroux in the top 6 again.
So I've got one other idea here, and this might be my official marker. New Jersey.
Oh.
Because then you can put him on a line with, that second line, bump Andre Palat down, because, I mean, Jeff Skinner's going to be higher up the lineup than Palat. Yeah.
That guy's still making $6 million for 2 years. That's insane.
I believe Dexter said in the chat earlier that the Devils need to get rid of Palat somehow.
Yeah. He's got a 10-team trade list now with 2 years at $6 million. I mean, who's taking that contract? I don't think anyone.
Well, if it comes attached to Simone Nemec, like call Kyle.
Yeah, call
attached to Simone Nemec.
Simon Nemec and Andre Palat to the Pittsburgh Penguins for, like, I don't know, somebody.
Future considerations.
Future considerations. Oh, boy.
All right.
Well, all right, gentlemen. I think that's
wrapping it up here.
Hey, y'all did a great job.
Yes, you guys did great, too.
Thank you to Hobbsy for hosting this. This has been fantastic.
All right. Scott Oak receives Order of Canada. So good for Scott Oak.
Good for Scott Oak.
Congratulations.
There we go. All right, that is going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, guys. Can you guys talk to me about the Kings' outlook real quick? All right.
I don't like what they've done so far today, aside from Anton Forsberg.
Cody Ceci at 4.5. Oh my goodness, they actually added. They have a 10-team no trade list on Cody Ceci.
Oh boy.
The whole contract has a 10-team trade list.
Sorry, Mike, but I do not like what the Kings did today.
Yeah, getting $4.5 million on Cody Ceci, $4 million on Dumoulin, and that is like your substantiary moves today. I can't really say that that's the greatest thing. I mean, Corey Perry's also there, so, I mean, you're guaranteed a Stanley Cup final.
Guaranteed Cup final, that's true.
That's all I can say for the LA Kings.
All right, well, that'll just about do it. So thanks to everybody who's followed along and watched with us for the past almost 4 hours now.
We've been there almost 4 hours.
Happy Canada Day to all who celebrate.
Absolutely.
Happy Canada Day. Shout out to co-hosts Golden, Dice, and Michaelak, who's here for a bit. And Data, who popped in.
Yeah, thanks to Data for allowing us to host all this. It's fantastic.
Yes. Thanks to Data. This was quite fun.
Sign up to be a channel member. Maybe you get to do this next year.
Yeah, there's a chance. Go into the Discord. You can join us with that. We'd love to hear you. We'd love to see you guys. We chat about all things NHL, MLB, all these sports. We've got a lot of things that we can talk about, and we'd love to have you as a part of the Discord community. So, yeah, that'll do it for us.
All right, that will do it. Thanks, everyone. Remember to subscribe to Data, and in case you missed it, he'll be back, I don't know, probably later in the week, this weekend, with some more content, early next week.
Yeah, on the 4th. That's what he said.
Thanks for being here, and we'll chat soon.
See you later.
Bye.